We are?
I hate this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I hate this fucking cable.
We're now.
We are live, episode 165, Wacky Gimmicks at the Legends of Hamburg FanFest.
It sounds like a wacky radio station. Welcome to Live 165.
Yeah,
Your radio dial goes up really high now.
It's gonna get real wacky. Insert sound effect.
So we got a bicycle horn.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about all the wacky gimmicks that you're gonna see at the Legends of Hamburg FanFest 2. That's going to be happening in
9 days?
9 days. Yeah.
Today's the 14th, the 23rd. That's 9. Yep.
Yeah, so you can get your tickets all at the links below, or you can follow Legends of Hamburg or Outbreak Wrestling below. We will be touching back. Actually, let's just do it real quick here. So the Legends of Hamburg FanFest is this photograph right here.
I think you said this Saturday. I'm like, no, next Saturday.
Saturday, July 23rd.
I hope it's not this Saturday. I'm double booked.
Yeah.
Most of us are double booked. But yeah, you can come hang out. They will be doing a two-day event. So it'll be Friday, July 22nd, where you will see the quarantine show.
Mm-hmm.
Mila Mortez will be in action that night, which is fucking crazy.
Some people we know very well will be in action that night. Devontes, J.S. Hawthorne,
tons of good matches.
Dyson Bennett. Yeah, people who have been friends of the show for a while.
And then Saturday, the 23rd, in the morning, you're going to have Waffle Mania, where you can have...
You'll have Waffle Mania.
Did someone leave the front door open?
Possibly. I was
ladies barking at people that are walking down the street. And then later on that night will be Outbreak Wrestling comes together.
Yes.
Tons of no PPW.
So Waffle Mania is before the Legends of Hamburg FanFest, and then Outbreak Come Together is after. It's an all-day extravaganza.
It's gonna be a long day. I'm gonna have to try to.
Are you doing the waffle show too?
We'll probably be there early enough to cover it.
If you have $40 or $400, excuse me, it's a big difference. I was at Lowe's right before the show, and there's a giant 60-foot fan. I think it's like $449.
I'm gonna need one. One
of the industrial strength ones.
And then later on at Come Together, our very own Andy Header will be taking on Leo Sparrow for the Earth Championship.
Yeah, not the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Not the Intercontinental title. It's for
like
the championship of the entire Earth.
Yes. His first defense, too.
Yeah.
Which I was not aware of.
Technically.
No, he won it.
No, that was the win.
Yeah.
You don't defend.
Defend it.
Yeah. So, this will be his first defense.
Whoever he won it off of. It's a handsome man. Just saying. And then
I think his name was Billy Earth.
Yeah, Billy Earth, the trash cleanup guy.
Yeah. Billy Earth, the trash man. Talk about wacky gimmicks. There's one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Trash man, Billy Earth.
And then
you know what his music is, right? Well, I'm a trash man.
If his finisher is the famouser, I'm for it.
No, it's a trash.
It's the trash compactor.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the move is, but that's what it's called.
Whatever
Duke Drosy did, because that was his move too.
Whatever the finisher is, whatever. I don't care what they call it, but as long as it is the famouser.
You better get a little more experience before you do that move.
No.
Yeah.
Google Chuck Austin. You
don't want to break
experience.
somebody's neck in 1988.
Listen, it's my finisher.
You still don't want to break it with that
for $26 million? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a real fight. Kayfabe, geez, guys. Anyway, this Saturday, tomorrow,
also
2 days. No, today's not Friday. In 2 days, Saturday, July 26th, or July 16th.
Yes.
PPW Home of the Brave. We will be there in attendance. Tons of great matches. You're going to see people like Brian Kendrick's there. They're going to have
Lindsay Dorado.
Lindsay Dorado. The Mecca will be there. VSK will be there.
Some great matches announced for that one, too. We have Brian Johnson teaming with VSK against Bro Keller and Alpha Jr.
Yep.
Lindsay Dorado and Action Andretti should be really good. My buddy Tom Mitchell in his first PPW singles match against Joey Martinez.
Be really good.
You also have Facade against Brian Kendrick, which should be amazing.
Agreed.
You have a battle royal to see who's going to be the first person to get a shot at our own Andy Header for the TV title.
You will be on the call that day, finding out who your next opponent will be.
Live,
it could be Danny Moe. Danny Moe's in the
She's in the battle royal.
Yeah.
She'll be the first female in PPW history to compete to
I believe so.
a
Yes.
contest to go for a men's title.
It could be no limits title, maybe.
Yeah, I think there might have been Christina Rima.
I don't think she went for a men's title. I don't think she.
I think she was in a match, but she never won.
Oh.
I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
It could be friend of the show Killian McMurphy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in that. They announced a couple more people.
Your opponent the next week
could be
Leo?
Logo of the show, formerly Rembrandt.
Yeah. Yeah, can be a lot of cool things there. So that'll be the thing. And then the main attraction. List all the matches are a thing, but the main attraction for PPW Home of the Brave
Jackie Yeda.
is going to be the Hall of Fame
Dr. Frank.
Legend. Yes.
of Dr. Frank. So definitely get your tickets, ppw.com. All the links will be below. And we will be very, very excited.
And just to throw a plug Outbreak's way, they did announce, obviously, the big matches were announced so far. We talked about the Earth title. We talked about the Rock and Roll Express against the leaders of the New School for the Bad Street Tag Team titles.
Yeah.
But then we also had 2 new matches announced this week. Johnny Moran, and you've heard of a horse fight. This is a horse fight. It's the dark horse Johnny Moran against the American stallion Matt Quay.
Oh, wow. How about that? Sure,
Yeah.
Who has more horsepower?
Yeah. Who's going to ride a horse to the ring? No, probably nobody. But
Like nobody.
And then you also have the main event is settled for the Outbreak Championship. Ian Bush, who won the Outbreak title almost a year ago,
wow.
right after Legends of Hamburg last July, will be defending against Tommy Vex.
Yeah.
Mary Elizabeth, the manager of the Stars, the super agent, has managed to somehow get Tommy Vex I don't know the last time he won a match in Outbreak, but he is getting a title shot. That Mary Elizabeth is that good.
She's fantastic. She's the
Super agent.
best in the game.
Did he wrestle Matt Quay last time?
He lost.
Oh, no, it's Philly
And
Mike.
lost.
Oh.
No, he wrestled Davey Bly, and it was Tommy Vex and a local competitor,
Local competitor.
Oh, that's right. That's
against
right. Yeah.
Davey Bly and Izzy,
Mhm.
and Davey Bly and Izzy won
Yeah.
Yeah. And now he's getting a title shot.
because it's all
Mary
about
Beth.
representation.
Yeah.
That's right.
If you're in professional wrestling, that is the agent you want. Forget Barry Bloom, forget Paul Heyman. You want Mary Elizabeth.
She should
Yes.
be on the line. The winner also gets Mary Elizabeth.
Well, that happened at another promotion.
All right.
Yeah. You know who won her?
No.
Big Dust.
Oh, nice.
A second
Obviously
best
didn't-
agent in wrestling.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should merge, and then they would have the greatest sports management company ever.
Well, according to this promotion,
You can buy
they are
UFC.
merged.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Tommy's kicked out of the house, and
Oh,
Dustin
well.
and Mary are together. It does-
Can you blame her? It's Big Dust.
Well, that's how it works.
It is big.
Brian Pillman got Marlena for a whole month.
Mhm.
Do whatever you want with her.
That's hilarious. I love that
Laws
they-
are out the window
I love that they did that
because
That's
of
the
a
funniest-
wrestling match.
It's the funniest fucking thing ever. They're my one of my two favorite people.
You mean to tell me in a real situation, you don't think Mary Elizabeth can handle herself against Big Dust?
Yeah.
She'll be just fine.
Yeah,
Well,
she'll be
The
good.
rules of the match say
Yeah, that's
you get to hit whatever the winner wants.
that's how it works.
You have to do.
Yeah.
So whatever Mary Elizabeth wants, she can do to Big Dust.
Yes. That's all right. Well, that happened. Let's get into our topic for tonight, and we will end the show with we're going to try to keep it around the 145 mark again. So we're going to do our topic, and then we will squeeze in current day wrestling news towards the end of the show. So let's get into our wacky gimmicks.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this one
Yeah.
because the Legends of Hamburg, they are legends. A lot of them have made their way through the Hamburg Field House, but even legends sometimes have their moments where it might have been a good idea on paper to someone, maybe not to most people.
Hey, the Red Rooster would have got over if he tried. That's what Bruce says. Sure.
The Red Rooster will not be the
Yeah.
Legends of Hamburg, nor will Bruce Pritchard. What if Brother Love was there? Brother Love show where they did Piper's Pit.
Listen, if Gavin's in attendance, which I don't think he is for Saturday,
No, I believe
but
he's gonna be
will-
there Friday,
He'll be there
but not Saturday.
Friday.
Yeah, you should
You can never rule out who's going to show up at a show.
That's true.
Some indie has to do the Brother Love show, but it's Gavin as Brother Love.
Yeah.
He's going, I love you.
And you put that out there, I'm sure people are going to hear it. It'll happen.
Put it out in the universe.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, when I book a wrestling show, that's going to be on there.
Yeah,
We're getting that.
That's the main event.
We're getting the Fighting Farmer's Daughter, MMA. We're getting a lot of things.
we're going to
getting
roll
Dick
the. We're going
Crystal.
to literally
Yeah.
put the thing out in the ring where it looks like a carpet. Put the stage out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a talk
well, you
show.
have to get the red carpet in the ring. But they used to do the Brother Love show in the ring.
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's what I would bring it back.
I like the interview segment though, off to the side, like
Yeah, that was
Piper's
always better.
Pit and Heartbreak
Yeah.
Hotel and all that. The barbershop. I always like the interview off to the side because it will always get destroyed. Then it's okay. You don't
Yeah.
have to take time to deconstruct it.
Now they have just like 15 people who can bang that out. In like
Yeah, they
30
run in
seconds.
there.
Yeah, they're
While
really,
while
really
we're
good.
on Brother Love, which is a weird gimmick if it's the topic. One of my favorite things they did was when he had Roddy Piper on, and he's like, "I'm a little bit Scotch myself," and Roddy's like, "Scotch is what a Scotsman drinks."
Yeah. But all right, let's get to our first gimmick.
So when we're talking about legends, and we're talking about the Legends of Hamburg specifically, we really should talk about the Rock and Roll Express. Not only going to be at the FanFest in action, like I said, again, maybe winning the bad street tag team titles.
I hope they do.
What if they're
Old school against new school. The leaders of the new school against the kings of the old school, with all due respect to Steve Corino.
Yes.
The rulers of the old school, we'll rephrase that a little bit. The Rock and Roll Express. But Ricky Morton didn't always see eye to eye with Robert Gibson. In fact, in 1991, he joined the York Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And the York Foundation, this was the computers were all like kind of nouveau riche, and people didn't really understand them that well. Some people had, you might have had like your Apple II, or you might have had something like that, but they
Very
weren't,
expensive too.
yeah, they weren't as omnipresent as they are now. They weren't as understood as they are now, or as they were like 20 years ago even. So the brain trust there in WCW came up with this idea called the York Foundation, which was led by Alexandra York.
Because wasn't Robert hurt for a little? And that's
I think
why.
Robert was hurt for a little bit. I believe it started with Michael Wall Street, who was he wanted to become IRS. That's why he left. But Michael Wall Street was this rich guy. It was Captain Mike Rotunda, but they named him Michael Wall Street because he, I guess, got some kind of big stock windfall. Now he's a rich guy. He was basically their $1 million man. And then Vince McMahon goes, "Damn, that's a good idea. Let's hire him and make him an IRS agent."
Because everybody hates paying taxes.
nailed it?
And meanwhile, they're catering to 12-year-olds. Are, what are taxes?
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't get it.
Nope.
Who's that businessman?
He doesn't look like a wrestler.
Yeah, I always thought, who's that angry guy in a suit?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Is he going to wrestle?
Is he a lawyer? No, I don't know.
The red suspenders, man.
And then every match, girl wants to win. Why doesn't somebody grab him by the tie? Why don't they tie to the rope? Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah.
It's like when you have magic powers, why don't you use them whenever? Oh, yeah, we already solved that because wrestlers have a certain amount of MP.
Yeah.
And they
Run
have,
out.
after they shoot a lightning bolt or something or disappear, they have to,
They waste all their MP during the
they have to
entrance.
either drink ether or stay in before they can do it again.
Yep.
And so
waste all their
No.
I thought that was me that was making that noise. So I was just double checking there. So Michael Wall Street leaves. And the other addition to the York Foundation, the namesake is Alexandra York. We brought her up in passing here. That was Terry Runnels. That was Marlena.
Mhm.
At that point, she got introduced to WCW because she worked makeup for Larry King Live. And this was when Turner owned WCW and Turner owned CNN. So Dustin Rhodes and Marlena, or Terry Boatwright at that point, kind of struck up a romance. They're married for many, many years, and she winds up getting involved in wrestling. And she is this consultant. She's wearing glasses and a businesswoman suit, like a pencil skirt, a blazer. And she has a laptop.
She was sexy late 80s businesswoman.
Yeah. So she brings a laptop out to the ring, and the laptop is going to give her the exact plan to have her people get the win. And she can predict how they're going to win within like the exact second.
Yeah,
so it'd be like
with the computer.
Yeah, the
what would have been
analytics,
algorithms, but that word didn't exist.
the computer has predicted that Michael Wall Street will win this match in 7 minutes and 42 seconds. And lo and behold, he wins the match in 7 minutes and 42 seconds.
Computer's a smart computer.
Yeah, and it was
Well,
about 4 inches thick. Too.
Yeah. And usually the way it worked is around that time, Alexander York would give the computer to the person she's managing, and they would hit the other guy with the computer, and that's how they would win. Excuse me. So after Wall Street leaves, they have to bring in some other people. So then we just talked about the Red Rooster earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had his share of bad gimmicks.
Mhm.
Not as much as the guy we'll talk about in a little bit, but he had this gimmick was the computerized man of the 90s.
Yeah.
Terrence Taylor.
Right after he was the
Red
tailor-made man,
Yeah.
Terry Taylor.
Where he just dressed up like Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. Now he's the
His
computerized man.
His
in the
entrance music
1990s.
could have been the sound effect that your computer makes when it connects to the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. The white noise, yeah.
I think his music was like,
The dial up.
if I'm remembering correctly, his music was like a cheap knockoff of the Dallas theme.
Yeah, I think it was like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
kind of like JBL's.
Yeah.
And then
Someone said in the chat here, the 2023 Hall of Fame will be Demolition with Crush, Miss Elizabeth, Matt Bourne, Martel, and Earthquake. I don't.
There's a little thing called the concussion lawsuit.
Yeah, and that's why
which I think-
Demolition's
I think
never gonna be
Demolition
there.
will not be there for that.
and they're not going to induct 3 dead guys in 1 year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Terry
Not that
Taylor,
none of
the
them are
Red
not deserving.
Yeah, they all deserve it, but I'd love it. I would love that as a Hall of Fame class, but they need some people on stage.
Yeah.
They haven't tried to sue them before.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of those people that tried to sue them and they forgive them.
Yeah.
Most of them are in the Hall of Fame.
And if they put Miss Elizabeth in, they have to talk about Macho Man, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah, probably not.
They'd be dragged kicking and screaming to put Macho Man in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Which is a shame. She deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. So with that, there's Terrence Taylor, and that becomes a thing. Terry Taylor becomes Terrence Taylor. They take somebody's name, and now it's going to be their full name. Speaking of people who are going to be at Legends of Hamburg, Thomas Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Wildfire Tommy Rich becomes Thomas Rich.
And they all slick their hair back and get a ponytail.
Yep. And
They're
then
businessmen now.
Ricky Morton becomes Richard Morton. And he is part of the York Foundation. He wrestles Robert Gibson when he's back from injury, his former tag team partner, in a match that's not known as the best match ever in 2 Hall of Fame careers there with the Rock and Roll Express. And then it was shortly scrapped thereafter because they're like, yeah, maybe this stable's not really.
They did get him to slick his hair back and wear his hair in a ponytail once or twice.
Wear a sport coat.
Yeah, and then he went back to his rock and roll gear.
Yeah, which was good.
Yeah.
It's like, the Rock and Roll Express.
How do you
Not
get rid
broke,
of
don't
that?
fix it.
How do you get rid of that hair?
Well, he just slicked it back. Like, he didn't cut it or anything.
Yeah.
So it was instead of business in the front, rock and roll in the back, it was business in the front, business casual.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he was still
The
kind of like
ponytail makes a business casual.
just Ricky Morton, but he's a bad guy now.
Yeah.
But he was still Ricky
I
Morton.
Yeah,
wanna
so
look-
you take the guy who is known kind of universally as the best guy ever at taking a beating and selling and evoking sympathy and all the things you want a babyface to do, the best to ever do it, and make him a heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, make him a heel. Now, what should have happened, because Robert Gibson already had the full name, he should have been Robbie Gibson.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, if you're going to be Richard, I'm going to be Robbie.
Robbie. Here comes Robbie. Here comes Hoot Gibson.
Reuben Gibson.
Reuben Hoot. Hoot Reuben.
And then the Rock and Roll.
Why does Ricky Morton look like fucking what's his name from Cobra Kai right
Oh,
here?
yeah, he does
Oh,
look
he
like
looks
Johnny.
like Johnny.
Yeah. He looks like
Johnny
in that
Lawrence.
picture.
Yep.
So then the other thing that was kind of dubious for the Rock and Rolls is a few years later, when the NWO is the hottest thing in wrestling over on WCW.
I think I just found my new favorite moment of fucking Rock and Roll Express
Oh
history.
my God, that looks like
The
a Sears-
mustaches.
Oh,
Yeah, and
yeah,
it looks like
look
a
at
Sears
that.
and
Like a
Roebuck picture.
That looks like that has to be like
cover.
86, 87.
Wow, look
Wow.
at the
People watching on
mustache.
video, we're looking at something really cool right now, and you
Yeah.
can't see it.
So there's a photo. Just Google Rock and Roll Express, and there's a photo that pops up of them with mustaches, and it's crazy.
They could have tagged up Magnum TA.
Yeah, that's something else.
So WCW around late '97, the NWO is the hottest thing in wrestling. Well, Steve Austin is getting there too, but WWE or WWF at the time decides, well, we can't get the NWO, but we can get the NWA, and they bring back the NWA with Jim Cornette and Dennis Corluzzo.
Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett is the NWA North American champion, and Barry Windham's the cowboy. And this sounds great if it would have been 1987. Sounds wonderful. Like the Rock and Roll Express against the Midnight Express, but not Bob Eaton and Stan Lane or Dennis Condrey.
Express.
Yeah, Bombastic Bob and Bodacious Bart. Do you remember them?
The
No,
Bart bro, the Guns.
One of them.
One of them,
Yeah.
Bob Gunn,
Yeah.
Bart
Bart,
Gunn,
yeah.
and Bob Holly.
Yeah. They had cool gear. I'll give them that. I think they might have had early Jack Pacific toys.
And then they fought each other in the Brawl for All, and Bob Holly was actually the only guy in the Brawl for All that the tournament that Bart Gunn fought that he didn't knock out. Because then he knocked out the Godfather, he knocked out Dr. Death, he knocked out JBL, but he didn't knock out Bob Holly.
Took it easy on him.
And that was kind of the end of the Midnight Express, because then Bart Gunn went and trained to fight Butterbean, and
lost.
yeah,
See, Butterbean
10
lost a
seconds.
ton of weight.
yeah, he wants
No,
to fight
no.
like Logan Paul now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
Oh,
wants
wow.
to- yeah, but he dropped like a whole Butterbean.
No, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So is
He just called Bean now.
Yeah,
Just
Just
eat her
mean
butter.
now.
Yeah, he cut out the butter.
His
Yeah.
butters.
kidney.
He looks good for his age.
Yeah, he's Garbanzo
Yeah,
Bean now.
how old would he be now?
72.
50s, probably.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
way more than that.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Ryan goes, the
And he
York
wants to
Foundation.
fight.
Outstanding.
No, I mean, he's got to be in his well into his 50s or 60s. He's got to
Yeah, I
remember
guess so, because probably he was
that
probably
Bart
30.
Gunn. That Bart Gunn fight was 23 years ago.
Yeah, and if he was 30, then he's 53 at least. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of a dubious thing for the Rock and Roll Express. But if we're going to talk about some out there gimmicks and people are going to be at the Legends of Hamburg, you got to start with my guy Barry Darso
Mhm.
and maybe my favorite gimmick ever. That was maybe a little silly and a little. The term back in the day, because there was a very popular website, was Wrestle Crap.
Yeah.
Wrestle Crap
I have
is
the
still
book.
around. I have a few of the books. Wrestle Crap was basically just like they would document the worst things in wrestling ever. And Repo Man, people said it was one of the worst things ever, but I love Repo Man.
It was cool, but he lost all the time and he
Again,
wasn't taken seriously. And
again, it was 1992, 1993. It's a time where WWE is really their core audience is children.
Mhm.
So
I still think there's one worse at that time.
I mean, there's
I bet there's a ton
There's
worse.
one that just stands out to me, but
I unironically love Repo Man.
yeah, when I was a kid, I was just like, this is real. Bastion Booger.
Are you trying to pick a fight with Tony Deppen?
Yeah.
That's his favorite wrestler.
I just remember being a kid and just being like, all right, Repo Man, Bastion Booger, all the worker people, and I was just like, that one always stuck out to me as the corniest.
This was the era of wrestlers with jobs. Yes.
Yep.
WWF wasn't a downswing, so I guess they weren't paying so well, so people had to get day jobs.
Yeah, race car driver,
Yeah.
plumber, garbage man.
Yeah.
Bastion Booger and his
Booger
gear.
Man.
Oh,
Well, it got dirtier week
Mhm.
by week.
Oh.
Do you remember what Bastion Booger was very briefly before he was Bastion
No.
Booger? He was Friar Ferguson, and he came out in a monk robe.
Oh my
And
God.
he still had hair at that point, but they cut a horseshoe.
yeah,
They cut it into a horseshoe.
yeah, I do remember that now.
And before that, he was crazy in WCW. He was
Yes.
Norman the Lunatic.
And he
That's a
came
little
in.
better.
He came in like a
The Scrubs.
He came in like scrubs from like a mental hospital, and he
Yeah.
always carried a teddy bear. I was 6 years old. I loved Norman the Lunatic. He was great.
It's a good character. Good at like presenting character.
But then somehow he became Trucker Norm after that, and he was just
Yeah,
a
this guy
trucker.
went through so much.
He also had more gimmicks than Beefcake.
Yeah. Repo Man was the one that's always going to be near and dear to
Who
my
do you think
heart.
holds the most the record
Oh, I
for
don't
most
know.
gimmicks?
It might be Darso. So let's start
Oh,
from the
maybe
top.
Beefcake though. I don't know. You gotta count him up.
I mean, if you count names, it's probably Beefcake.
yeah.
All right, let's start with Beefcake because he was like Dizzy Golden, Dizzy Boulder, Eddie Golden,
I think Eddie Boulder.
Eddie Boulder. I mean, but they're all the same things. They're just different names. And then he's Brutus Beefcake for a long time.
Yeah, like 10 years.
But even Brutus Beefcake had different iterations because when he came in, like he was kind of supposed to be like a gigolo or a stripper or something.
This list.
Like he was a beefcake. He was supposed to be like a guy who was like selling his
He's
butt.
supposed to-
Chippendale.
Yeah, Chippendale.
The Chippendale, yeah.
And that's why he had the pants with like the big rips on the side, the
Yeah,
mesh and
yeah.
stuff. But then he turns babyface because he breaks away from Johnny Valiant and the Dream Team at WrestleMania 3. And one of the big matches that night is Adrian, Adonis, and Roddy Piper. It's a hair match. So after Roddy Piper wins the match, and they're going to shave Adonis's head, but lo and behold, Adonis and Bob Orton, Cowboy Bob and Adrian, are going to turn the tables on Piper and shave his head, even though he won the match. And this is his
Barry
hair.
Darso is at 9 with 10 gimmicks.
Okay.
Might be about
Out of a
even
top
then.
Out of
Might
top
be-
10 list.
Might be even with Al Snow's up there too.
Al Snow, Virgil
yeah.
had a bunch.
Yeah.
I just
Charles
named.
Wright had 8 or had 10.
Nash had a bunch
Nash had a
too.
bunch.
Kane.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin Reynolds at number 6 with 11. I won't do them all. I want to get to number
Yeah.
1 and I'll go from there. But go ahead.
So he goes because he helps Piper turn the tables and he helps Piper cut Adrian Adonis's hair. From there on in, he's Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Beefcake Baba.
Or as Zeus called him, Beefcake Baba on the Brother Love show. Another Brother Love reference. So that goes until he gets the parasailing accident.
93.
He comes back, and they always said that when he came back when he did the run-ins, they he was called Furface, but they showed his mask. He never had fur on his mask.
Yeah, it was that like it looked like a superhero mask. It was red and yellow.
And then they were like, "Oh, he's called the Mariner," and like, well, I don't think they called him anything. Like it was literally on WrestleCrap. They just called him Running Man.
Yeah.
And he would just run in and beat up heels, but it was just Beefcake kind of testing stuff out. When he came back, he was just Bruce Beefcake.
Stanley Frazier has
Oh, okay, Uncle Elmer.
he had 23 gimmicks.
Jesus.
Oh, well, I know the Convict. I know Uncle Elmer. I know Kamala too.
The Pascal Plowboy, the Giant Rebel, Giant Hillbilly,
They're all kind
Tiny
of
Frazier.
yeah.
But
Most of
it's
these are the same gimmick. Most of these are Uncle Elmer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they said they gave him credit for 23.
Well, I mean, fine. The 1, 2, 3 kid, the Cannonball kid.
Yeah,
he's
like
the
the
Kamikaze
kid.
He's
kid.
obviously on the list
Yeah,
as
so
well.
that
Son
don't-
That's just different names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not different gimmicks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
yeah.
Barry Darso's
Yes.
totally different gimmicks.
Yeah, Stan Frazier, most of his gimmicks were Fat Hillbilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then he goes to WCW and he's Brother Brudeye, but he's still doing the gimmick. And then he's masked guy that hits Hulk Hogan in the knees because Nancy Kerrigan just happened.
The Butcher.
Then he's the Butcher. And then he's the man with no name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then I know he turns face. He's Booty Man.
Well, he's a Zodiac.
Oh yeah, Zodiac first. Yeah.
Zodiac, Jesus.
But he's a
Christ.
spy. He infiltrated the Dungeon of Doom because he's a spy for Hulkamania. And then when he comes back, he's the Booty Man.
With the Booty Babe.
Yeah, Kimberly Page.
The high knee baby.
And his finisher, the high knee, because he's the Booty Man.
God.
All right, he won me back over.
And
That might be the best thing.
I think that's my favorite of his gimmicks.
just because of Kimberly,
Yeah.
And then he was the disciple.
Yeah. He goes away for a while, comes
Yeah.
back as disciple, but then I think he's also
He must have been awesome to party with. And Hogan's like, "You're sticking with me, bro."
yeah. I mean, he wasn't the best wrestler, but he got that free ride with Hogan. Can't blame him.
And
Probably a good partner.
To give him credit, he was very popular in the early 90s and late 80s.
He was, yeah.
When he was Brutus the
Beefcake.
Barber and he was a baby face, he was very popular.
He had a lot of merch. I remember people always had like the
Yeah.
wristbands and the.
Mhm.
I think they had like plastic scissors
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
And the bag that you would come out with
Yeah.
had and a lot of zebra print, a lot of like
Mhm.
I love zebra.
And the,
black
the
and yellow
fishnet
zebra print.
stuff,
Zebra
yeah.
print always goes over with me.
and so but we're talking about
I wonder why
Darso.
that is.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels.
Uh-huh.
So when you talk about Barry Darcy, you go back enough and he's Crusher Khrushchev.
Yeah, Russian. Didn't have a Russian
No,
accent.
no,
though.
he was an American sympathizer who became he was a
Oh,
Russian
okay.
sympathizer. His whole thing, he didn't have the accent because he was American.
Oh,
None of them were really Russian.
oh no.
Nikita and him, we talked about Barry Darcy and Nikita in the Robbinsdale High episode many moons ago
Oh.
because they both went to the same high school. And then Ivan Koloff was French Canadian.
Yeah.
So none of them were really Russian.
How about Brian James in the chat?
Yeah,
Analyzing
Brian
Tony.
Armstrong.
Yeah, Road Dogg.
The Roadie, Road
Yeah.
Dogg, Jesse James.
Mhm.
Make sure if
BG
you're
James.
watching live over on the YouTube sub, head over to Analyzing Tony and give him a subscribe.
Jesse James Armstrong, the Bullet, very briefly in Impact. Yeah, there were a bunch.
That's a good one.
So after Crusher Khrushchev is when the original Smash and Demolition. It's WWF can't sign the Road Warriors, but we want.
Right, sorry, Ryan Vox says I got grounded for 2 weeks because I used all of my parents' stamps sending out Brutuses to get well cards.
Oh yeah, WWF loved to do that. If a babyface got hurt, whether it was real like Beefcake or whether it was like a kayfabe injury like Hogan when Earthquake crushed him, they would be like, or Matilda when Matilda got kidnapped by Bobby Heenan and the Islanders, and they said they'd mistreated Matilda. They were get well Matilda cards. And they would always be like, send your cards and letters to this PO box. And they took all those addresses and they sent them all to WWF merchandise catalog.
Yep.
That's what that was for. That was a lead generation campaign.
Yeah.
It's like their own version of the census.
Yeah.
Yeah, smart. Yeah.
Yeah. That was them building a mailing list.
Yeah, but it was also nice. It was in training little kids and younger people to be nice to others and send greeting cards.
When you were a little kid, and you got that catalog. That was awesome. You look at
Yeah.
all the shirts. Look at this.
Yeah. So unless you're poor, then it's just
Yeah.
like, look
But
at all the things I'll
it
never
was
get.
still cool to look at.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
could,
I didn't get a lot of stuff from them, but
You
they
can
were
go
cool to
back in
look
those little catalogs now and see like 12-year-old Stephanie McMahon modeling rockers
Yeah.
t-shirts.
Good pick.
It's just funny it's not a Macho Man t-shirt.
at. Yeah.
That would be great.
That'd still be on the internet today.
No, the rockers ones are.
Yeah, I'm saying, but if
Yeah.
it was a Macho Man one,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the original Smash, Bill Eadie was Axe. Bill Eadie was Axe, and before that he was a Masked Superstar, which is a very successful gimmick. Before that he was a Mongol. So was Nikolai Volkov. But the original Smash was this guy Randy Colley, who was a Moondog, and people remembered that. And even though he had face paint on, they would chant Moondog at him.
They
And
had bleach blonde hair.
because nobody knew what Axe looked like because he wore a mask forever. Like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
But Smash were like Moondog. So that went on for a few weeks. They're like, we gotta get rid of him. And they brought in Crusher Khrushchev. And if you look at early Smash, because eventually he was a long hair guy in Demolition. But when he first comes over, his hair is really short because he was still growing it out. Because when he was Crusher Khrushchev, he was bald. And so after Smash ends, after Demolition, it's so weird because Demolition was such a big part of, like, if you're my age, if you're Andy's age, like Demolition was like right in the wheelhouse of your childhood. If
Yeah.
you're
88.
started getting in the wrestling around like 87 to 91.
yeah, I seen them and I was like, I didn't care.
But if you
They even had
but I
a little
caught
clip,
them
but they
towards
look
the
so
end.
cool. Like,
Yeah, I thought they looked
look at
corny.
these guys.
but if you-
I didn't see Mad Max yet, so I didn't think. I was like, what is this?
I never seen Mad Max.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I would have seen
Before-
Mad
at
Max
that point.
first, I would have thought they were cool. But like, I seen them, and then I seen Legion of Doom, and I was like, I'm going with the football pads.
Yeah, I was more Legion of Doom person
Yeah.
too, so I was right
I mean, they look cool
alongside
too. I
him.
mean,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, look at these guys.
well, that's why Demolition fizzled out, because it was like, oh, we can't get the Legion of Doom. Let's make our own. And then they got the Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the Road Warriors. Like, okay, you can go.
They're like, you want to steal TVs? And you become a guy who crushes people's heads? And
But
sorry, man.
you're allergic to shellfish, but we think you're sick, so you're out.
Yeah.
So Demolition runs its course, and then the Repo Man shows up. And again, same thing. It's a whole deal where if you're like a 10-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid, things like that, what's a Repo Man?
Yeah, I don't get it. You don't.
Yeah,
You've probably never heard the word repossession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so over the top in his acting.
He was
and stuff.
amazing.
It's-
Yeah.
that's what I think
It's-
appealed to little kids was
It's an awful
the way he
gimmick.
laughed and yeah.
The reason I love Repo Man, like what Darso did in that gimmick reminds me of something that I also loved as a kid. Was the old Adam West Burt Ward Batman, the
Yes.
1960s Batman.
He was like the Joe
Yes.
or Riddler.
He was Repo Man has a lot of parallels with Frank Gorshin's Riddler from that show.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about his gimmick was the tire track.
Oh,
He
yeah.
got ran over
And then
by a
his
car.
coat had pieces of tire on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it said Repo on the back and was made out of license plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had the rope for some reason. Which
Well, he tried to hang Davy Boy with it.
Yeah.
Well, the rope is where you would hook the car up and then would
Oh, okay.
hook it up to the
I just thought he was a thief.
tow truck.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, that was
with
his
the
gimmick.
mask.
He was supposed
yeah.
to be a Repo Man, but when they did the little vignettes, he had the domino mask. He'd be like, I own that car. Like
Yeah.
he's repossessing a car, but so it was like that car is paid off. Like he was just stealing people's stuff and saying he was repossessing it.
Yeah.
If you
I guess the thief man didn't have as good of a way
Yeah.
to it.
well, there was a movie called Repo Man.
I was just
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
say,
yeah.
when
And no
was
one
that-
likes a repo man.
Yeah.
God damn
I
it.
was just gonna say, when was the Repo Man movie big? Was that around then?
Much like other Vince McMahon things, it was several years before.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Scarface came out in like the late 70s, early 80s, and then
Mhm.
Razor Ramon was 1992.
Okay.
Like Vince finally seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Vince is probably gonna have a McLovin character soon, something like that.
Yeah.
or like
Let's
Project
do
X.
for that.
Yeah.
Austin Theory. It's gonna become McLovin.
Oh god.
McLovin.
And then Repo, and then he even reinvented himself. He wore a full mask at one point. But a couple months ago, I watched.
Repo Man did?
Yeah, he had a full mask at one point.
I don't remember that.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Mike D, for the subscribe. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks.
he
Mike
had a-
D.
If you guys are here real fast, even if you're on the YouTube side, if you are Facebook, can you please hit that share? Let people know that you're watching this live. If you own a Facebook, but you're watching on YouTube, share the YouTube link. Help us out. We're trying to hit that goal of 1,000 subscribers. So
And
word of mouth is the best
You
way to
can
do it.
subscribe on anywhere you get podcasts. Too,
Yeah,
not
and
just
if you
YouTube.
want to listen to audio, so if you're like, man, I want to listen to this, I'm driving around or I'm in my car a lot,
Mhm.
and I don't want to pull up a YouTube channel and sync it to my phone, you can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple
Download right there.
Podcasts, and we have 164 more episodes you can listen to. There's a lot there.
But yeah, like the classic Repo Man was the domino mask, and then he wore like a dark green bodysuit,
Yeah,
kind of
grayish. Yeah.
sleeveless bodysuit, and they had gray tire tracks. It was like a dark green, and then it went to like a gray and white. It was like all over tire tracks. He wore
Yeah.
a full face mask. It didn't last long. But I was recently watching like the first 4 or 5
This one.
Raws. Yeah, that's
I'd never
what
seen
Repo
that
Man
before.
Yeah,
was.
That's right at the end.
That's a cool look.
And the second episode of Monday Night Raw, they're doing the cold open, and it's Vince McMahon, Randy Savage, and Rob Bartlett. And I loved Rob Bartlett. Everybody hated
Rob
him.
Bart-
I
yeah.
thought he was funny. And they're doing their opening for Raw, and you see Macho Man just fall down, and Repo Man jumps over him like just cackling, steals his hat, and then runs off. And he's like, I took your hat. And he's just like getting so over the top with it outside. And Macho Man's like in the Manhattan Center, just so angry at him. At the very end, he repossesses a car outside, and then it's Rob Bartlett's car, and that's a joke.
I love it.
And then the next week, it's Macho Man and Repo Man, and Macho Man just
Of
beats
course.
him.
Yeah.
So after Repo Man runs its course, Barry Darso leaves WWF, and in WCW, there's this guy in the crowd, and this redneck-looking guy in the crowd with a trucker hat and a red shirt
On a radio.
and a CB radio,
radio.
and he just
Because that would work.
Yeah. Well, it was a handheld one, so for the
Yeah.
time, it was huge.
Yep.
he just keeps like harassing Dustin Rhodes, and he won't leave Dustin Rhodes alone. And it turns out that this is an evil trucker named the Blacktop Bully.
Mm-hmm. And he's bald headed.
Yeah.
Repo Man had a little bit of hair.
Repo Man was going bald.
Yeah.
Smash was losing the battle to hair loss.
Yeah.
So he goes full bald here, and he has this big feud with Dustin Rhodes. He's part of Colonel Parker's stud stable with Bunkhouse Buck, and later Terry Funk and Dirty Dick Slater would join it later. Arn Anderson would join it later, but he was one of the first guys, him and Bunkhouse Buck. And it all comes to a boiling point with Blacktop Bully and Dustin Rhodes in 1994 at the first ever WCW Uncensored.
Mhm.
The opening match in that show
There was like 4 of those, right?
there were 4 or 5.
I've been going
Yeah.
back and trying to look at all the pay-per-views.
The
Some
fir-
pay-per-views only had like one show.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah.
The first 2 were the ones where it's like, we're just going to do all wacky gimmick matches. And then by 96, I think they gotten a little more like, we're going to try to do some normal.
Yeah.
stuff.
Uncensored didn't get a game, right?
No.
No.
Backstage Assault was the closest they ever had to Uncensored.
Yeah.
And Mayhem got a game.
Mayhem got a game and a pay-per-view at the same time. Like the pay-per-view was a tie into the
And
game.
then there was
Yeah.
Nitro and Thunder on PlayStation.
They never did like a Starcade game.
No, you think they did Super Brawl for Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they never did like a Starcade
And
game. where-
WCW versus the World, and then there was WCW for
Revenge.
Yeah.
Nintendo with the Road Warriors on the cover.
Yeah, that was the old.
Yeah, for
The
NES.
N64s was World Tour and
And Revenge.
Revenge.
Yeah.
And then Backstage Assault, which was Mayhem, and then Backstage.
And Thunder got a game.
Well, that was
Thunder
for
was
PlayStation
sequel
1.
to
It was
Nitro, yeah.
Nitro and Thunder, and he did the Mortal Kombat moves to do.
Those games were really bad, and then the N64 games are really good.
What was good about those games is when you would select the guy,
Yes,
they would do a promo,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was the coolest part of that.
the best
we
one.
tried to recreate that at Leapfrog.
Oh,
For
cool.
Frog Sport.
Yeah.
So when like Frog Sport was supposed to be like a Mortal Kombat, and then we also tied in the old Thunder.
Yeah.
So before every match, there was a guy in the ring, and like it would be like his card,
Mhm.
and then he would be like, "Today I'm going to beat you,"
Oh,
and it would just stop,
that's cool.
and then the next guy's thing would play.
I always loved Kevin Nash's thing on that was look, don't pick me. You don't have the dexterity or the finger speed. Pick Hogan. Pick somebody else. Don't pick me.
Supposedly, there's an Easter egg. If you stayed on Nash for a longer period of time, he would just be like, "You still there?" Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Supposedly, the Easter
I
egg.
don't have them too, and I want to get them.
If Michaels would have been at WCW at the time, he would have just faked an injury if you stayed on it too long.
Yeah, I remember playing the shit out of Nitro when it came out.
Yeah.
Diamond Cutter, baby. Down forward triangle.
Anyway,
If you pick Brett, he begs you to pick him.
yeah.
If you don't pick me, you're a hoser. So Blacktop
And he'll
Bully.
tell the other computer player that I can't lose because I'm a
Can't lose.
hero.
Well, only if he has creative control. That would be Hogan.
Yeah.
If that's gonna be anybody,
it's
that's
Hogan.
gonna be Hogan.
I can't lose in Montreal. I'm a hero here. I'll hand the
Yeah.
title over the next night.
Hulk Hogan, there should be a Game Shark code. It's like the "that doesn't work for me, brother" code.
God mode.
Yeah.
Where you just can't
He just
lose.
kicks out.
And they just Jeff. As soon as
Yeah.
the match starts, he just Jeff
Yeah.
Jarrett's.
That creative control that Brett had for the last 30 days of a contract, Hulk Hogan had for like every contract he had from like 1988 on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, even Shawn Michaels found that out.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels could politic around Brett.
They
You're
couldn't,
not
the
politicking
Hulkster.
around the Hulkster brother. You met your match, Sean.
He got a last laugh though.
Did he?
He made Hogan look like a fucking
That's fine.
tool.
Hogan doesn't care. He got paid and he
Yeah.
won.
Sean
Hogan-
kind of looked like an ass
Hogan
there.
got paid. Hogan got his hand raised. Hogan's just fine.
The plan was 3 matches, but
Yeah.
because of how Sean acted, it was
Yeah.
1.
Oh shit! There was something else I seen.
Didn't they do a tag team match?
Yeah,
Roddy
before,
turned on
before
him.
yeah,
Yeah,
before.
Turned
Yeah.
on him.
So the Blacktop Bully and Dustin Rhodes are the first Uncensored. They're in the opener. It's the King of the Road
Mhm.
match. It's a match that happens in the back of a moving flatbed truck.
Oh, I did see clips of this.
Yeah,
It's like a
bunch of
Gang
hate-
Beasts. There's a map on Gang Beasts where you
Yeah.
literally fight on top of a truck.
Well, you're in the truck. The truck is
Yeah,
set up
you're
like
in the semi.
a chicken wire cage, and it gets a police escort, and they're following it like with a camera, and there's cameras in the truck, and there's bales of hay all around. And you win by they start in the back of the truck, but you got to get to the front of the flatbed, and you got to honk an air horn, and that's how you win the match. Or I guess you could just throw the person off the moving truck and kill them.
Yeah.
and win.
Wasn't it caged in though?
Yeah, it was like
Chicken
caged on
wire.
the side, so
Yeah.
you could go over the top, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know
like,
why you would want to.
They basically climbed like a beam in the center, so if they fell, it would fall in the truck.
Dude, maybe you'll know this. I don't know though. Remember like growing up, and they'd do like block parties in the area.
Uh-huh.
There was always one where it was a flatbed truck, and they caged it and had hay bales on it, and there was like a guy in a gorilla costume, and he would jump off the hay
Oh,
ride.
I don't remember that.
and,
That
like,
sounds
run-
cool.
And he would run around and like scare the shit at all the kids.
At block parties?
Not block, like dude,
Carnivals
like
and-
town
yeah, yeah,
parades.
yeah.
Like it'd be a
Oh.
parade, and he would be
Huh.
like, it would be a float in the parade. And I don't
That's
ever.
a good idea.
I grew
Yeah.
up in such a different time.
Yeah.
Someone
I was
could
young.
do this.
Such a different area.
I was young
Yeah.
when this happened, and this is more like a school county thing. And I know you didn't grow up in school.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
did you?
Yeah, she was still in.
technically I was.
Dolphin
I
was the town a little bit over.
Yeah, technically I was half breed. I was half Higgins, and I was half because mom came from Locust Dale, so ABA parades and stuff were all. Yeah,
I guess so.
and
That's
I think
like
I remember
that's like
that from
McAdoo territory. We're like, we're school county. We're like, sure you are.
Imagine being proud of that.
I know.
McAdoo, they'll take anything they can get.
That reminds me of the Heenan joke. You had 9 months to come with name, and the best you could do was Bruce.
Yeah, Maca don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, block parties. We just had like wiffle ball and underage drinking. That's all our block parties
I was
were.
gonna say I don't
we had the
remember
internet
any block
drinking,
party
though.
like that.
No, it wasn't a block party. It was a like parade.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. I don't remember,
like
but
Halloween
I won't-
related, or
I don't remember.
No.
I was young. I don't remember.
Probably like an ABA.
I think they
parade.
played like Wild Thing or something. Like they had a music thing. It would be that guy. I would always look forward to that one. The Mummers, and then the guys,
Mummers,
the guys who would be in the car,
The Mummers,
the
huh?
cars, the
Oh, those little
Shriners.
cars,
the little
yeah.
cars, and they would fly
Yeah.
around.
Shriners.
The
Yeah.
Shriners.
Yeah.
The Mummers made their way up here, huh?
Oh, Mummers.
Yeah.
ABA
Really?
parade.
Wow.
ABA,
What-
ABA was big on the Mummers.
what is an ABA period?
The ABA parade was like a Memorial Day parade, right?
It was called the Ashland Boys Association. So
Yeah.
it was an
Oh.
association from like the 20s for
Oh,
young
wow.
boys in Ashland. and
This
they
is
threw
gimmicks
big
in
parade.
school county.
Wait,
Yeah.
this is actually crazy. There used to be a mummer's costume in Farlow's. Like when we got it, there,
Mhm.
like, they used
Yeah,
to be there
Bob
too.
acquired one somehow,
Yeah.
some
Well,
way.
to tie it back to wrestling, you know where the Mummers used to practice?
The 2300.
No, the ECW arena.
No, Viking
Well, the
Hall.
Viking Hall, yeah.
Named after the South Philadelphia Vikings, who were a fancy brigade in the Mummers.
And one
Yeah.
time during a Takara show, Claudio forgot his jacket. So the where the Mummers like where they stored all our stuff in the backstage for every show at the arena was here. There was a door, and he went in there and he put on this crazy
He did
jacket,
not put
and he
a
came out and
Mummers
said,
jacket
"I'm
on.
going to wear this." And they're like, "Okay, Claudio," and then he does.
Oh my
So there's a Chikara show where
Yeah,
he
he has
comes
a
up.
big Mummers jacket on.
I want to see that.
I don't know
show.
which one it was. Probably like 2006.
Oh, is it like one of the string band leaders, one with the big back piece? Too?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like feathers and everything.
Love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, the Mummers always come up this way.
Okay, yeah. Well, the ECW arena is very close to 2nd Street in South Philadelphia,
Yeah.
which is where, like, that's where the Mummers live.
Yeah.
That's their home.
Mhm.
Like the real Mummers parade is the night before on 2nd Street. Anyway, Barry Darsow and Dustin Rhodes
Yeah,
are
we
all.
took a weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
How is there never a Mummers wrestler? How did that
Yeah.
never happen?
Yeah.
Barry Darsow, Dustin Rhodes, they do something bad here. Mike Graham, the agent who put together the match, kind of encouraged it. They bled.
Mhm.
They cut themselves open, which was forbidden. The blade was forbidden in WCW at the time, and they were all fired. Mike Graham would come back later. Dustin Rhodes would kind of go away from wrestling for about a year and come back as Goldust. Barry Darsow was gone a little bit longer,
Yeah,
and he comes back toward the end.
When
of
did he do the 7th thing and just like walk out?
that's at like 99.
Oh, Dustin?
Yeah.
That was after Goldust. That was
Yeah.
he was Goldust for a few years, and he came back in '99 and did the 7th thing, and he's like, "This is stupid."
That's right. I forgot he did Goldust first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had a few runs as Goldust. And Darsow comes back around like 98, 97, 98. And he's mainly on WCW Saturday Night. He's like an undercard guy. Sometimes he's just Barry Darsow, wrestler. But they come up with this idea for him where he's going to be an evil golfer.
Mm-hmm.
An evil golfer, Stuart Payne. Because there's a real golfer, Payne Stewart. But as the gimmick's getting off the ground, Payne Stewart dies in a plane crash. So now he's just going to be, I think Chip Fairway was another name. And that might have been an indie guy. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
sure.
Like that.
Chip Fairway may have been an indie
That,
guy.
Good
that's
name.
excellent. Chip Fairway.
There was also a Firebreaker Chip at one
Yeah.
time. There was a tag team in WCW called the Patriots. And it was Todd Champion, who's just like a generic muscly blonde guy in red, white, and blue pants. And Firebreaker Chip was a firefighter. And their hometown, they would be announced as hailing from WCW Special Forces. Was their hometown.
Like Sergeant Craig Pittman.
Gonna put that in the back of my brain for next wrestling trivia.
And
What was Rebo Man built out of?
I don't think
I believe it was Parts Unknown. Yeah,
Yeah.
most
Parts
of them were
Unknown.
Parts Unknown. The wacky ones back then, Damien Demento was from the Outer Regions of Your Mind.
Yeah, of your own mind. Your own mind.
I'm
Like
trying
Moon
to think.
Knight.
I'm trying to think of other.
And
Sid was
wacky
always-
hometowns.
Sid was always from wherever he damn well pleases.
Yeah.
That was always Sid's thing.
From wherever, weighing
Whatever.
Pretty
whatever.
much,
Well, the repo one makes sense because why would he want you to know
Yeah,
where he
he's-
just
yeah.
took your
Undisclosed
stuff?
location. Yeah.
Deepest, darkest Africa, like
Yes,
Akeem.
Akeem.
All right, sorry.
So that kind of runs the gamut on Darsow. But a guy who kind of gave him a run for his money for.
Oh, we
for-
didn't say the name of the character.
Oh, Mr. Hole in One,
Yeah,
Barry
Mr. Hole
Darsow.
in
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, and he would come out with the little
Golf
Putting
clubs.
green. Yeah.
and he would putt in the ring and then beat up a jobber. That's when you were bottom of the barrel in WCW when
Did he use
lost
the
to Barry
club?
Darsow.
Did he use the clubs at all?
I think so.
Probably,
yeah, like
yeah.
the cheap shot and then pin you.
See, like growing up,
chip shot.
I was just so over because like I was like, I learned really quick, like Hogan's gonna come out, he's gonna get beat up really, really bad, he's gonna Hulk up, he's gonna do the baby face
Yeah,
thing.
it was great.
And
It
it bored
was amazing.
the shit out of me.
Oh, I know
just-
Shawn Michaels is going to do the kick. Who cares?
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
But Shawn, as a kid, I was like, he's undersized, he's small, he's not a big like
Yeah, so
a
was Barry
monster.
Horowitz.
Yeah, so then every time a character was on screen,
So was Brett.
Yeah.
Brett and Sean are the same height.
yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I always thought Brett was like the bigger guy, just because he always
He might
told-
be
yeah.
slightly.
well, and because he like his matches look like he could legit fight and hold his own, where Shawn
Well,
was kind of like,
Well, one could legit fight and one couldn't. so
Yeah,
and
Sean was a performer.
Yeah,
is what it
Shawn
was.
was an
Sean was
entertainer, Brett
an
was a fighter,
entertainer.
but that's why I always latched on to characters. I was a character-driven person, like Piper,
'Cause it's
Mr.
tangible.
Perfect. Yeah, I always
Wow.
loved gimmicks.
I didn't
Sean
understand
was-
as a kid. I just thought, oh, he's a golfer that wrestles.
Well, I mean, that was later.
Yeah,
and,
but I
the,
mean,
vin-
yeah.
and the vignettes.
Like, you know what I'm saying,
I
like,
love the
By the time
vignettes.
Mr. Holman comes around, I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
probably. Yeah,
I'm
but
like 15. I'm like,
I'm like,
okay.
oh, while he races cars.
Yeah, I never
Thurman Sparky
grew
Plug.
out of it. I was like, fucking always give me a gimmick. I'll latch onto a gimmick all day long. I love them. They're my favorite part of
Well,
wrestling.
it depends if it's good or bad. Sometimes it can start off
Oh,
good
I
and go
love-
bad, or
Some
vice
of them are
versa.
just some of them are just
Or it
bad.
could be bad,
Just
but it really
bad.
comes down to the
Are you gonna-
person.
I like when it's bad and the person's good enough to make it get
Yeah.
over.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Repo Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like when Rusev was doing all that nonsense at the end, but it was working. Like it was still entertaining to me, and it was just going out there and be like, "It's not going to work," and he's like, "Oh, I'll make it work." And then the crowd's behind him. Like I just like
It didn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit. They're like, then you get punished for getting something over that's not supposed to get over.
Yeah, Matt Cardona syndrome.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
And the only guy that may have given Darso a run for his money besides Beefcake around that early to mid 90s time frame would have been another man that will be at Legends of Hamburg, another man who was in a very famous tag team at that time frame. We have something from the chat here.
Yeah, he said, "Don't you dare tarnish the good name of Chris Champion." He was Yoshi Kawan, damn it.
No, I'm talking about Todd Champion. Todd Champion. Did I say Chris Champion? I meant to say Todd Champion.
Okay.
Todd Champion and Firebreaker Trip were the Patriots.
Wayne says, "I hated Hulk Hogan when I was a kid as well."
Some people did. Some,
Hey,
just like-
Blackwell, we
So-
are the same way when it comes to gimmick guys. See, Wayne's on my side.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it was the same thing where like people were like, oh, Instinct sucks. And the Backstreet, I hate Hulk Hogan. It was like that. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to be so cool by hating the guy everybody likes. Look
No,
at me.
like John Cena.
When
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
like Hogan, it was when I was definitely on a boat of my own. I was a kid, like I didn't have internet or talk. I only talked to like
I
my-
mean, at the end, a lot of people were getting sick of the.
No,
Yeah,
good
it was
guy
running
stuff.
its course.
Yeah.
People
From
cheered
a-
when Sig pushed them out of the Rumble.
Yeah.
from an early age, I was never a Hulkamaniac ever.
He was never my favorite.
I was.
Yeah.
My dad
I
was like
I'm not gonna lie,
Hogan,
I
Hogan.
was.
I was like, give me Macho Man, give me Piper. Like I never
Like
got into Hogan.
WrestleMania 6, I rooted for the Warrior.
I never really had like Hogan.
I didn't like Warrior
ingrained
either.
into my head. Like my dad was more into like the Bob Backlund era.
Yeah.
of wrestling.
Your dad's
So
like, this guy's cool.
yeah,
And you're like,
Wrote it.
come on. now.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah.
Back-
Yeah, I never Hulk. I remember
I mean,
everyone's like,
Superstar Billy Graham is
He
where
was-
Hulk Hogan got his axe.
Yeah, and he is pretty cool. Like,
yeah, I never got into Hogan or Warrior. I just never. They weren't my guys.
No, I never liked Warrior, but Hogan was my guy when I was a little
I
girl.
like Warrior,
so-
even though he was the shit.
Yeah,
It's
I
he's
look back
awesome.
and I'm
I
like,
think
he was
all little
awful.
boys
Oh,
loved him
but,
because he
like,
was so excitable.
the John Cena comparison though, like as a kid growing up watching John Cena, having that be like the main focal influence for me pop culture wise, and he was saying hustle, loyalty, respect, and never give up. That's pretty good. Same thing as Hogan.
Yeah,
Same
it's
thing as
crazy.
Hogan,
Take your
but
prayers, take your
take
vitamins.
I didn't
prayers,
watch-
Take your vitamins.
I
yeah.
didn't watch the whole Cena era, and then when I came back into wrestling, everyone's like, "You're gonna fucking hate Cena," and I watched. I'm like, but that's when Cena was so self-aware of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he knew how, like, he's like, oh, "You're not gonna boo me," and I was like, "I love this guy."
Yeah.
And then if I would have got Cena in rap Cena era, I would have been hooked.
Oh, that was good though.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, hooked. Yeah,
best thing he ever did was the United States Open challenge.
Yeah.
that was the best.
but yeah, our firehouse, they had a gym in the basement that as I was pretty much raised in either a restaurant or a firehouse. 'Cause we didn't have babysitters. And the basement of the firehouse had a giant Hogan poster on the one side,
Oh
and
wow.
a giant Warrior poster in the other on the door. When you came in and you closed the door, it was a giant Warrior
I wish I
poster.
had both of them.
Yeah, it might still be in the
Yeah,
basement
you
of
never
of
know.
that firehouse.
Probably is.
Yeah,
But the one guy that may have given Barry Darso a run for his money is old Uncle Fred. Fred Ottman. Fred.
Right.
There's a guy that hasn't been
If my other brother
wasn't handed the best gimmicks. Uncle Free.
what's going on, Moose?
After I left the WWF but before I came back to WCW, I had my own turnbuckle championship wrestling in
Mhm.
Florida, baby. And Big Steel Man was my opponent. That was Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred. I didn't know that was Uncle Fred.
Okay, I gotta ask, what
Mhm.
year was this now?
This was Big Steel Man would be like 1989,
Yeah.
1990.
Okay, so do you probably know where Uncle Fred came from?
His name was Fred, and he was somebody's uncle.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was probably from Smokey and the Bandit. Snowman's dog. The Snowman was the truck driver. The Snowman's dog was Fred, and he always said
Oh.
Fred that way.
Well,
Fred,
that's
get
just
the
how Dusty
truck,
talks.
Fred.
That's
But
Yeah,
I think
that's just-
Uncle Fred comes from Cody because he was like an uncle.
Yeah.
Oh.
When Fred
Because
come
it just
over.
sounds
When
exactly the
Typhoon
way
would come over.
and his
Snowman
name was
says
actually
it.
Fred.
And
Yeah.
Smoking
Yeah.
the Bandit is very Southern drawl.
I'm
And,
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dusty loves
Fred.
Smoking the
and,
Bandit.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Dusty Rhodes is Southern and has a
Yeah.
lisp. So that's
So
Yeah,
like-
that's why
It
that's
sounded
why Colonel
just
Parker
like-
was Boss Hog.
Just
Yeah.
like the Snowman, and I can't
He had a-
remember.
he had a hog,
Oh,
all right. Yeah, he had a hog, all right.
Colonel Parker, yeah.
So did Bunkhouse Buck, I think.
Yeah,
too.
Colonel had
Down
a
in the family.
he had a boss hog, all right.
That should have been his nickname. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'll say.
You want something for your fucking bedroom wall? Google fucking him in a fucking Speedo.
Oh God. I think you did once, didn't
Oh,
you?
it's-
Oh
Harry?
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get on a t-shirt.
Banana hammock.
Mhm.
No.
He's flexing like this.
Let's
And it's
Back
like,
in the day,
it's
they
like-
could have
it's
had
like a-
him.
let's not and say we did.
it's like a 3D image.
They could have had they could have him and Scorpio in a sword fight back in WCW.
We need a pop-up book where you just open it up.
Ha!
and- yeah,
gotta watch your ceilings.
Yeah.
Be like that bridge in North Carolina. You gotta watch the clearance.
yeah. That's gonna be our next logo. It's gonna be the old
Colonel
Colonel.
Robert Parker.
Yeah.
It'll-
say.
It'll go right through my face like that Final Destination
Yeah.
movie.
Bomb.
It'll be resting on your head.
Hi, Colonel.
God.
Just crush your head.
You got to be this tall to be on the podcast.
All right, we got our
Yeah.
we got our dick joke out of the way. Let's get going here.
Jokes. So yeah, Big Steel Man is
We
what
hit
he's
our
called
quota.
as a heel in Dusty's Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling in Florida. And
Says he was Cody's uncle.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Fred Ottman is the guy we're talking
Oh,
about, and
Legitimately related to marriage.
he was married to
Oh.
Dusty's sister, as was Jerry Saggs from the Nasty Boys. That's why the Nasty Boys teamed with Dusty and Dustin in the War Games in 1994.
I thought only one Nasty Boy was from Allentown, but they're
Both are.
they're both
Yeah.
are. I only thought only one was.
And so WWF is always looking for big guys, monsters of the week to team up with Hulk Hogan. And it was always like a big monster. It was either a big tall guy or a big fat guy or a big muscle guy like Kamala or Andre
King Kong
or
Bundy.
Killer Khan, Bundy.
Here's a tag team I was into.
So
Not yet. Not yet.
the other trope is that Hulk Hogan has his best buddy, Paul Orndorff, Randy Savage, never Hillbilly Jim. He was the only loyal guy. But Hulk would always have his best buddy, and then his best buddy would turn his back on the Hulkster.
Mm-hmm.
So took those two things together, and you're like, okay, we're gonna have a guy who's a big guy. He's gonna be Hulk's best friend, and he's gonna turn on him. And for some reason, he's gonna be called Tugboat, and he's not gonna be a tugboat driver. He's gonna be a human sailboat of
Yeah.
some sort.
Human
Who
boat.
goes doo doo. Okay, Vince, sure.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of coke back then. It's
I like-
okay.
I like big tugboats.
And
I wonder. We have to like. Where does like
Did he see him swim?
no like did he, like where does it come from?
he's the big steel man. You know
It's-
what's made out of
it's-
steel? A tugboat.
His gimmicks are based off stuff he hates and stuff he likes.
I
If you
hate
hate you're a
tugboats.
villain, like a tax man or a dentist, and if you're good,
There's got to be a better story.
Yeah, but what did he like about a tugboat?
he probably see one. Say, look at that boat. God damn it.
Did
It's
they have-
pulling the other one. It's big. It's strong.
Did they have a hat in the back? They're like, we have this hat,
Oh, they probably had that
and this
special made.
hat
Yeah.
needs to fit somebody, and it looks like a sailor hat.
Well,
we
Bru-
need to use this.
Bruce
hat.
said there was no
we
box of
need to
gimmicks.
use it.
We have a hat and a red and white striped tank top, and it's gonna fit a big guy.
White pants.
And white pants.
And then this guy just walks on this. You get in here. Jesus Christ, he looks like a tugboat.
I'm sure that's probably what.
He's gonna pull Hogan into the
Yeah.
promised land.
He's built like a goddamn tugboat, Bruce. Look at him.
There has
Yeah,
to be
but
some.
tugboats are small, if you notice.
Oh, yeah,
they're-
they are
he's
tiny.
he's
They are
compact.
tiny.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
really,
but they
really.
pull big boats. I'm sure that's.
I never.
strange
So
about
I remember being a
tugboat.
kid and seeing Tugboat.
Yeah.
And then I think there was like a Tugboat
I didn't even know what a fucking
cartoon or a
tugboat was.
Tugboat book that like. Oh, here's a like, or we learned about it in school, and I remember just seeing these giant ships and then this tiny little boat.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
Sense.
Tugboats. I know Tugboat from wrestling, and it's a fucking monster.
well,
I never.
like
It's so
he's
it confused
seen
me.
one and he liked it.
Confused me.
And the whole plan was always going to be that he was going to turn on Hulk Hogan. There was going to be a big feud. In fact, then the Gulf War breaks out, and their original idea for WrestleMania 7, which they thought was going to fill a 100,000-seat stadium in LA, the LA Memorial Coliseum, where the Raiders played at the time, and the Rams, with the Iraq War upon us, it was going to be Hulk Hogan against the WWF champion, just beating the Ultimate Warrior, the evil turncoat Sheik Tugboat.
It's when you're a bad guy from Saudi Arabia or anywhere of Middle East or a sheik.
Yeah.
So he's going to be Sheik Tug. Maybe he's an oil rig now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He's
better.
drilling for oil
He's
now.
an oil rig now.
Because he's Sheik Tugboat from Iraq.
And he probably would have been the same exact outfit, but with the sheik headdress.
It would have been a Sheik.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah.
I would have. Why did we not get this? The headdress and then the curly boots.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
still,
you have to get them.
still the white pants.
Mhm.
But when he takes the headdress off, sailor hat still underneath.
Yes.
Well, they can-
on top of the headdress.
They can put it together. Yeah.
Yes, sew it on. It's a headdress with a sailor hat. You still have the red and white stripes.
Or maybe red and green.
Red, white, and green.
Red,
Yes.
white, and green.
The Iraqi flag. Or red, white, and black. I
Yeah.
think is their flag. I know nothing about geography. I'm ignorant. White pants.
I
And
only
then
know
the
one flag, and that's America.
curly boots.
Meh.
And he still goes, dude.
Yeah.
It
Be great.
would have been amazing. But
Yeah.
we didn't get it because we're like, that, eventually, at the
That's
very last
slaughter.
minute, they go, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Why?
And that
We
never
were
happened.
so close.
That didn't
Yeah.
happen in the 80s with WWE.
Get me Sergeant Slaughter.
What's Slaughter doing?
He's in the AWA events. Kill Vern.
Yeah.
I need Slaughter.
That's still around.
And then the AWA died, so
Yep.
like they didn't have to kill Vern, and it all came out in the wash. And then we got Slaughter, and it was still so bad they had to move it to a much smaller arena because they were worried about terrorist attacks
Mhm.
and not about awful ticket sales like Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. And Tugboat lasts a little after.
Also, if you're listening to this because you're going to come to Hamburg, also in attendance, Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
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 And speaking of Sergeant Slaughter and Iron Sheik, Gavin and his pops are in the chat. Says Sheik Tugboat will make it happen. Hat over the turban.
Yes.
I forget there is a name for that dress that the
We're gonna
headdress
get
that
we're gonna
Sabu
get
wore.
baby Tugboat Sheik.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little Chic Tugboat.
And go
Amazing.
Chic tugboat.
If only Hogan would be there, but he wouldn't even know
My
anyway.
favorite.
Sponsored by Tornado Tag.
Yeah, Gavin just did his first, second Independent Star dress up. He did
Yeah, I think,
South
yeah.
Philly's Finest, and then he
Okay,
just
that's
did
right. Kit Ref.
Little
Yeah.
Kit Raff. Yeah,
It's a shame that I know he's booked that day. Gavin would have done great with the gimmick table. He would have made money.
Oh,
Yeah.
8x10s with Gavin and
Yeah.
Autographs and
oh,
Gavin.
he's on his way.
He changes
would've made a
costumes
killing.
every hour.
If the girl who's the Bailey super fan got famous,
Yeah.
Gavin is definitely going to be that person.
Mhm.
But like,
Is he?
He already is in this area. He's bigger than
Yeah.
Bailey fan
yeah.
all day long.
Is he kind of failed? Like once Bailey went to main roster, is he just kind of?
Well,
Yeah.
there was also there were arguments.
And she grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, I want to see Gavin turn heel, and I want to see Gavin
Boy,
go to the dark side and join Tommy Vex and
But
just put the
he's-
little tiny pencil mustache on him.
but he is literally a baby
I don't think
face.
that's happening. He broke his crayons.
But eventually, he turns. He becomes a Tommy Vex sympathizer.
So the Chic Tugboat never comes to pass, but the heel turn does. Instead of turning on Hogan, he turns on the Bushwhackers, which is a bit of a step down. And now he becomes Typhoon. And Typhoon was a good gimmick. The Natural
It was.
Disasters was a great tag team.
So we went from a
Fox
tug-
said, "I need a picture with Little Sheik, Tugboat, and Uncle Fred." Unfortunately, they will not be there Saturday. They will be there.
Yeah.
They will be there Friday for the show.
For Quarantine, second
Yeah.
anniversary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are gonna
Florida.
because they have a long drive Saturday, and they're still gonna come because they're fucking major supporters of the independent scene. They're still coming Friday to support Outbreak, but the next day they're going on vacation, so
Oh,
they
okay.
won't be there Saturday unless things change. But that's last time I heard. So yeah, unfortunately, we won't have Baby Chic at the con.
But we will have Tugboat.
Mhm.
We'll have Tugboat and Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
And Typhoon.
Typhoon, yes.
Oh, yeah,
It
this
was
So we
cool.
had
They
a
could keep the
tugboat and a
T
typhoon.
and they could make him Typhoon, and he's roughly the same size as Earthquake. I'm like, this works.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I loved this tag team because they're both
And he
big
still has
guys,
something to do with water.
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
big guys, and they move very well.
And you could say, who would beat these two big guys?
Yeah.
Nobody.
We almost got that in modern day when I first seen them. I'm like, these could be the next modern day Earthquake and Typhoon. And then they got rid of them. But
Heavy
heavy machinery.
Oh.
When heavy machinery was in NXT, and I was
Yeah.
like, they're like an Earthquake and Typhoon. They're just
Yeah.
big, like bigger dudes that
Both
were
of
like
them move
athletic.
very well.
Yeah, I loved Earthquake and Typhoon. And then I seen
They made it
Earthquake.
into what was us? What's the game? The classic wrestling game, the arcade game.
WrestleMania. the arcade-
Wrestle,
no.
WrestleFest.
WrestleFest. Yeah.
Yeah, they were in WrestleFest.
It was a good idea because by 91, the belts are going on the LOD, and Money Inc. isn't around yet. The Nasty Boys are kind of on their way out. Who's a legit challenger to LOD? Who are you going to believe
Yeah.
as a challenger to LOD? Like Power and Glory didn't work because they just squashed them at WrestleMania.
No Steiners yet, right?
No, not yet.
No, and the Steiners are baby faces anyway. Demolition's run its course; they're gone. Natural Disasters are perfect.
Mhm.
No Samoans.
They were on their way in.
Yeah.
They were on their way in, but they weren't there yet.
Yeah.
And that was already done in NWA, so they probably didn't want to revisit like something that Crockett did 3 years before that.
Mhm. Yeah, I loved Earthquake and Typhoon. I remember buying. I had their action figures. I was like, I want an Earthquake and Typhoon action figure.
They even have the old school one.
LGNs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And they were cool because they were like they changed their body size. Like a lot of
Yeah,
times
'cause
the
they
bodies were
fat,
always were always like
the same. Yeah.
like
body.
Flair and Shawn Michaels had the same body.
Yeah.
And then somehow Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan had the same body.
Well, yeah.
Well, we established Bret Hart as jacked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I played with a toy.
It's
I thought Bret was as big as Hogan because of the action figures.
well, they were all. Andre was bigger though.
Andre, I never had an Andre. Even I don't remember Taker being big.
I had the
That was the
Hasbro
same
on.
size.
He was
yeah.
the same size
Yeah.
as yeah. And then like
his hat was the same
Ravishing
as the
Rick Rude
Mountie.
was the same body as Ric Flair. They were both like
Yeah.
twigs.
Well, they were all.
I remember Rude. He was permanently in like the bicep curl.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Yokozuna was the first one that was like
Yeah,
And
real
then
big.
with the
real
Rude,
big.
with the Rude Hasbro, I thought I invented the stunner.
Yeah.
I guess Johnny Ace was already doing it.
yeah. But Earthquake and Typhoon, great action figures. Love them.
They have the what were they called by that time? Legends or I forget. It's like a black case and it looks like the belt. It says like whatever they're called. They're
Yeah,
really
yeah.
nice, but
Yeah.
they're hard to get. A lot of them are expensive now.
Like even going back and we watched the
Right.
first War Games, and it was the Doom versus Team Hogan.
That was not the first War Games.
Well, the one we watched that War Games where it was
Dungeon of Doom.
the Doom versus fucking Hogan's
Hogan,
team,
the
I-
All-Star team, yeah.
Even Shark, I was like, all right, he was still Earthquake. I know it's not
He was
Earthquake.
going to bite all the Hulkamania.
Yeah, but he was still able to move as a big guy. Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing him in
He
the
can
ring.
still move when he's Golga. He did lose some
He
weight.
lost
by
some
then.
weight at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another great gimmick.
Golga. The
Great
oddities.
gimmick.
The fucking oddities.
I like when he first came to WCW, he was just Avalanche, but I'm basically still Earthquake.
Warning. There's an avalanche.
Yeah. And
That
then
was
the
a promo.
Earthquake Splash just became the Avalanche.
Yeah.
I'm not a fish. I'm a man.
I'm not a fish.
Poor
So-
guy.
If you would like to get the Natural Disaster Elite figures, it will cost you about $150.
They were in one
Oh,
of the
they're
games.
cool.
Yeah.
They were in one of the games recently, one of the 2K games too. It's like a not. I don't think they were DLC. I think they were just like an unlockable
Wow,
character.
like someone selling Typhoon for just $100.
If I had $150, I'd buy.
They
the
can get
action
them
figure.
loose for like roughly 60 to 70. Like there's somebody selling them for 80, but they're very nice.
Yeah, I love them.
A lot of them old elites, man, they go for a lot of money, especially the older gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
But lo and behold, by early 1993, Typhoon was no longer long for the WWF. I think one of the last things he did was one of the Rumbles. I think was a '93 Rumble. He and Earthquake kind of faced off a little bit, and they teased maybe teased a break. They teased a little bit of a breakup. And then later that year, one of the War Games is being set up. It's the '93 War Games, which is going to be the Masters of the Power Bomb, Vader and Sid, and a new tag team, Harlem Heat. Remember them?
Yeah.
You want to talk about bad gimmicks?
Yeah. Kane
It
and Cole.
didn't happen. One of the original plans for Harlem Heat, and thankfully this never happened. It never saw the light of day. Colonel Parker was their manager. Looks like a Southern plantation owner. He was going to bring Harlem Heat out in chains.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Thankfully, that did not happen. But they were around. They were in Global, which was on ESPN. They were the Ebony Experience, and even there, they were Booker T and Stevie Ray. And they come into WCW and they're Kane and Cole. And then they changed their names back to Booker T and Stevie Ray shortly after.
Well, speaking of Booker T, he will be at Legends of Hamburg.
Yes,
Field.
he
Yes.
will. That's why I brought him up.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be Sid, Vader, and Harlem Heat. That's a good team.
Yeah.
That's a good heel team right there. But they have a good opposition team, which is going to be Sting. It's going to be the British Bulldog because he's still there. I think the third one was Dustin Rhodes, but I don't remember. And a mystery partner.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some ads that said Road Warrior Hawk, but I guess Hawk got hurt or something. and it wasn't him. Now I'm kind of doubting myself. So I want to see who the third guy on this team was in 1993 Fall Brawl. But the fourth man on the team is going to be announced at a Flair for the Gold, which was an interview segment for WCW's it was like a really fancy house set, and Ric Flair was the host. It was Dustin Rhodes. It was Sting, Flair, Dustin Rhodes, and their mystery partner, who is announced on a Flair for the Gold by bursting through the wall and immediately falling because there was a wooden plank that was nailed to the wall that he tripped over. He thought it would break away like the rest of the wall. He trips over it. His helmet falls off.
Stormtrooper helmet that has sparkles on it.
Glittery. Yeah.
His glittery Stormtrooper helmet, which is literally what it was, falls off. You look at his face and go, "Hey, that's Tugboat." He puts it back on. And
Poor guy.
And he stands up, and the voice of Ole Anderson.
Yeah, they didn't turn the mic off.
Sting.
Well, no, that was the Black Scorpion.
No, yeah.
Sting's his friend now.
Yeah, it was like Sting.
When he was the Black Scorpion, it was Sting.
Yeah.
Remember me, Sting.
Yeah.
Now he's
Well, wasn't there a hot mic on TV too where someone goes, "What the hell?"
You hear Ric Flair go, "Oh God," and then
That's what it is.
Bulldog says he fell right in his arse. And Sid acts like it's real. What are you doing?
Yes, Sid's the only one who stays professional
Yeah.
in this whole situation. Everybody else is laughing, and Sid's like, "I got you, brother."
so much like we were talking about this guy off the air before we started tonight. Much like JT Smith in ECW, Shockmaster's whole gimmick becomes, oh, he's clumsy.
Yeah.
So he's a big monster guy that's clumsy and falls.
You
a
know, he
lot.
went home after that, and he told his wife, "I'm fucked."
Yeah. Like, but what did they think he would do even if he came
Yeah.
through the wall successfully? He has a Stormtrooper helmet on.
Yeah, what was the plan there?
Yeah.
Well, what's he gonna do? Electrocute people?
Yeah.
Is that why he's the Shockmaster?
We never found out.
The
So no,
Shockmaster.
his gimmick then becomes
The Shockmaster could have been a world champion.
No.
and we'll,
Oh,
and we'll
God.
never
No.
know.
In your mind.
Shockmaster
In
is
your
beating
mind.
Vader.
Well, no, he had a hidden appearance, so you really don't ever know.
Anything could have happened. His whole,
Nope.
his
No.
whole career.
Mantar was never going to be the world champion.
David Arquette was champion. There's
Yeah, but
hope
that
for
was-
Shock. There's
I
hope.
will never win the Royal Rumble.
Never say never.
I
Some
will
things
never
you know.
win the Royal Rumble.
If we make Logan Paul money, I'll make
I
it happen.
will never win
Yeah.
the Royal
I
Rumble.
Neither
will, I
will I.
will roll you down in a wheelchair, and I will fucking make it happen.
Hey, sure.
Max Boone was not destined to win the world title.
And so eventually the Shockmaster just starts dressing like an electrician. He's wearing like a flannel work shirt and
Yeah.
jeans.
Shocking.
Kind of construction worker-ish.
Yeah, there's still
It-
shock involved.
Sometimes
There's
he come out with
electricity.
a helmet on.
And eventually he's Uncle Fred.
Yeah.
Uncle Fred, baby. I got the book. You're going to be Uncle Fred because you're my boy code is Uncle Fred. So I'm going to call you Uncle Fred.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry that Shockmaster thing didn't work out for you, baby.
I don't know what they thought.
That's okay, baby, because you're meant to be Uncle Fred.
What
But
were
they-
they thinking? Were they going to wrestle him in that Stormtrooper
Maybe they were going to get him a
helmet?
lucha mask that was sparkly.
Well,
we'll
what,
never know.
what
Yeah.
winds up happening,
Never
and
know.
I think they only did the promo. They never did anything with it. Eventually, he comes out with a new mask and says, "That wasn't the real. That Shockmaster was like my son or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that."
That was the
I forget. It was like,
imposter.
"I'm Super Shockmaster," and he wore like a regular mask, and now he was the Super Shockmaster. But he still has the mustache sticking out of the mask.
Yeah.
You can tell it's still Typhoon,
Oh, it's amazing.
and it's like that didn't last.
And you
long.
can buy the figure raise upside down.
And
Just
like the
awesome.
back of the package is the wall.
Yeah, you can see through
so
it.
good.
Well, you know what? Now he lives on.
But
Such
it
a
was
shame.
it was also like a great thing they did on the Edge and Christian show on the network, where because he has like, I guess his son, I don't know if he's still around because they've had so many cutbacks, but his son is one of the main, or was at least one of the main pyro guys for WWE. And they did a thing with
it's just funny that there was like pyro and smoke and for special effects.
They-
It sounds like I will make sure no one
Yeah.
this never happens to anyone
well,
else ever.
they made fun of it
That's my,
once.
my ruler, my life path there.
Yeah.
Is to make sure nothing happens like my
My dad would have been a world champ if
Yeah.
it wasn't for that
If it
fucking
wasn't
2x4.
for that.
They made fun of it once where Santino was the Shockmaster. He
Yeah.
comes through and he falls.
And the camera pans over and Arn's doing the voice.
Yeah.
So good.
If you want the Shockmaster figure, that's going to run you about $100.
I'm sure people have them on sale.
There's two of them though. There's that
Why
one.
don't you just get, well, no, the Typhoon figure is more expensive. Just you can get the Typhoon figure, just put a Stormtrooper
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, I'm sure
and,
people
and a
there.
garbage bag.
Somebody will.
It's so awesome.
Somebody will be selling them there. I'm pretty sure.
So let's go over
I'm going
some
to
other people
shock
who are
the
going to be there. We talked about Booker T. Pretty good career as far as he avoided that big no with the original plan for Harlem Heat. I guess it would have had a different name. It wouldn't make sense if they were Harlem Heat.
No.
No, it would have been like Georgia Heat or something.
Yeah.
I don't even want to.
I don't even
want to
think about it,
speculate
yeah.
what they would have been called.
A bad idea. That's what it would have
That's
been
what,
called.
yeah. Exactly.
But one of the gimmicks he had in before he was in WCW, back like I said, he was in Global. Him and Stevie Ray were the Ebony Experience. He was just a fiery babyface tag team. He had a gimmick where he was like a military guy, and his name was GI Bro.
And he kind of, without the face paint, brought it back when he did the Bad Bunny skit because he wore.
He brought back on late WCW.
And that was a bad idea because Booker T is one of your top stars,
Yeah.
and you're going to put him with a lower mid-card
Underneath group.
babyface
Yeah.
group called the Misfits in Action, and he's going to be GI Bro.
Yeah. Also, recently Booker T just wrestled a match on like a 10-man tag.
Yeah.
Wearing the Heat gear.
Board
Yeah,
and
it's
Heat
Ring of
gear,
Reality.
but
Reality
this dude
Wrestling,
is
yeah.
fucking
Yeah, it
doing
looks
the
great.
flex, and he's got the back muscles you can see from the front.
Yeah,
My
that's
dude is
his
killing it.
that's his wrestling school.
Yeah, he's killing it.
In fact, one of his trainees is killing it in WWE right now, or NXT, Roxanne Perez, Roxy. She was the ROH Women's World Champion at 18
Yeah.
and got signed.
His
And
other trainee, I believe, is
she has
possibly going to be winning the TBS championship. Ember.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Ember
Athena,
came
yeah.
out of her.
Yeah.
Athena came out of his school.
But
and
does
Sammy Guevara did too.
Oh,
Does
wow.
Athena-
Pretty sure.
I'm not sure who that guy is.
does Athena have the ability to make a skateboard disintegrate in midair,
Yes.
break into
Yeah,
pieces?
she-
Yeah.
she had- she's
because
super-
Roxy does.
If she still has the flame part of her gimmick, then yeah,
Maybe,
she can
yeah.
make
Yeah.
it disintegrate.
But does she has enough magic points? I don't know how many magic points it
Yeah.
takes
What if she's just
to make
so
a skateboard.
strong that she snapped it because of her strength
No.
before
Like
it even hit her.
Mark
with the
Yeah.
wind? Yeah,
That's what I would have blamed.
no,
Well-
she
on.
like Mark Henry just
That
snapped it.
without touching it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great.
I actually had a friend.
Like some
who-
tables and
She has telekinesis
WCW?
powers.
I had a friend who invited me to come over to his house, and he was like, "Yo, you're gonna ride my skateboard?" And I go, "I don't know how to ride a skateboard." He goes, "Just try it." And I just literally put my foot on it,
Yeah.
and it fucking snapped. And he's like, "Oh, I'm telling my mom you have to buy me a new one." And I was like, "There's no way I broke that." He goes, "You broke? That's a fucking super expensive skateboard." And I'm poor, and now I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna get beat because there's no way my parents are gonna buy a skateboard for this kid. And then I was like, "No, man, you fucking set me up. Like, you never call me over to hang out." And that's exactly what they did. They set me up. They had me
Oh,
step on a
God.
broken skateboard, and they tried to get me to pay for it. And I was just like, "You can beat me up, as I'm not telling my parents that we're paying for this." And I did. I got jumped that day. But yeah, broken skateboards trauma. That literally just popped in my head as we told that story.
So, yeah, and then you have the Magic Undersea car guy has arrived. He is driven from Ireland to Tampa, Florida.
He made it.
yeah, he's there.
Yeah, GI Bro did come back, and that was odd. So some other people are going to be at
Oh, the lights
Hamburg.
flickered at for Cameron Grimes. Bray Wyatt confirmed. Coming back to NXT 2.0.
They like
Hey, Bray Wyatt was never in NXT.
Yeah, he's an FCW.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was.
he
The Wyatt
was.
family
Yeah, the
were
Wyatt-
NXT tag champ.
Oh, I thought he was he had a different gimmick or different
He
name.
was
No,
Husky
Husky
Harris.
Harris was
Remember
FCW.
Yeah,
okay.
He was Husky Harris, and then I think he was Husky Harris for like one appearance at NXT, and then switched to Bray Wyatt.
I want to say the Wyatt family may have been the first NXT tag champ.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I know like Oliver Gray and Corey Graves were for a minute. Or Neville and Oliver Gray, and then Oliver Gray got hurt, and then it was Corey Graves and Neville.
Yeah, that was like the big rocking chair thing. I gotta get new fucking clubs.
So
Clubs.
the
You
headbangers.
gonna go golfing?
The headbangers are going to be at the Legends of Hamburg.
Loved headbangers.
Mhm.
Ugh, I hated them. You know
Really?
why? They were posers. Because they came out and they had Marilyn Manson shirts on. I'm like, that's not a headbanger. Because that's not heavy music.
Well, Cornette
Yeah.
gave them
Like
the
for the
gimmick.
time, yeah.
Cornette, I don't think Cornette understood
Now, if they would have
headbangers
had
either.
Slayer shirts and stuff. I'd be like,
I
okay.
agree, but disagree. So
And they didn't do anything metal.
so
They just did
metalheads,
this.
old school metalheads.
Yeah.
You go in two paths.
Yeah,
You-
but they could have wore a Pantera shirt.
you go to the Pantera route, or you go the '90s, what was popular at the time, metal.
Yeah, but Pantera was that's
And
when
then
they
one-
first got big.
Yeah.
Vulgar Display of Power came out in '91.
What I'm saying, there
Yes.
was a mainstream pop metal that
yeah,
people
like
listen to,
pretentious
and then
kind
real
of-
rip metalheads hated that.
Yeah,
metal.
and
but
that's
people it's still metal.
no, it's not.
It is.
No,
Even
it's
though
not
even
metal.
though-
I was hard rock. I would say,
Same thing with every genre has the
Subgenres.
hardcore, and
Yeah.
they have like the poppy version
they
that gets
weren't-
played on TV.
so that's why I didn't like them. They weren't
and
real
then
metal people.
gatekeep from one from the other.
Yeah, but they weren't real metal.
And Vulgar, I think it was 92. Vulgar.
Was it 92?
Display of
91,
Power.
92?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
30 years old this
Well, let's
year.
say 96.
It was 30
Great
years
Southern
old in, like,
Trendkill
March.
came out. So there you go.
Yeah, but yeah. So
So they run their course. The headbangers are around for a while, and then they're like, "What are we going to do with this Mosh guy?"
Yeah.
I know. let's make him Beaver Cleavage.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the height of the Attitude Era, and everything's got to have sexual innuendo and things like that. So you have a 1950s kid, Beaver Cleavage, with his mom, quote unquote, his mom, who is displaying said cleavage.
Yeah, very buxom.
And that's the joke.
Get it?
That's the joke.
Get it? Boobs.
Yeah.
Well, and it was kind of like the Dustin Rhodes thing because they did it one time, and he comes out and he has like the 1950s sitcom music, and he wins his match, and then he goes back and he's doing a promo, and eventually goes, "This is stupid. I can't do this," and he walks off. And that's the end of Beaver Cleavage.
Yep. And then he's Chaz.
Yeah, it was Chaz with smiley face shorts,
Yeah,
and his
boxer
mom
shorts.
is now his manager, girlfriend,
Was it-
Mariana.
When was the one he had the piss stained underwear? It was
smiley face. It looked like it was
Yeah.
piss.
Yeah.
But it was a smiley face.
But Thrasher almost got a good gimmick.
Yeah,
out of this.
DTK.
Yeah. He's gonna be like an evil doink, like a more
Yeah.
like a serial killer doink, like
Sadistic clown.
yeah. But then
In fact, on one of the WWE games, I don't know if it was No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000, one of the Nintendo 64 games, there is a usable face where it's Thrasher, but he has clown makeup on.
yeah.
is it really?
Yeah. And I guess that was when they were planning on doing DTK. Although they did do one thing with Thrasher, and this is awful.
Was
We're
that
talking about,
was it a BTK reference?
I don't think people really knew BTK that much back then.
Yeah.
No, it was DTK, Doink the Clown,
No.
but with a K.
Oh, got
Doink
you,
the
got you,
Clown.
got you, got you.
He's going to be like the new age Doink.
Yeah.
And so one of the things they did back then, GTV was a big thing where they would just spy on people backstage. It would be like a
Which
black
was
and white camera.
rumored to be gold dust.
It was going to be gold.
Yeah.
This is something WWE has even gotten wrong. And I had to go back. I went through all these old Raws to find it. The first time they ever did it, and WWE did the YouTube thing, were like, no, this is an urban legend. It was real. The first time they did it, it was called GDTV.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
It was GDTV.
Wasn't there breathing on the first one too? Like
There may have been. I don't know. But it was definitely GT.
possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always like, and it would just show someone doing something bad backstage.
Yeah. They
Or embarrassing.
Yeah. Like I think Regal peed on the Big Show's pants or
Yeah.
something in the men's room or something. But yeah, it was supposed to be gold dust.
and then someone peed in Regal's coffee cup.
I didn't even think that was on GTV.
That
I
was
thought
Jericho.
I thought it was GTV.
no, I think that was post GTV.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was just back, and that was a point where we're gonna have everybody act like there's not even a camera backstage.
Yeah.
Like everything became GTV at that point. So and then there was always a rumor that Tom Green was going to be the guy behind it, like Green TV, because
Yep.
Tom Green was a big deal. But they never really resolved it. But you could make an argument that Thrasher was behind GTV, and this is why. Because he's the only person that ever successfully summoned GTV.
Ooh.
They did an awful, awful, awful gimmick where Mariana Kamlos, and unfortunately she's passed away since. She had a battle with cancer. But she was Chaz's manager, and she was Mrs. Cleavage when they were doing the Beaver Cleavage thing. She was like a fitness model, got into wrestling. And they started doing a thing where she started coming out with black eyes. And they started kind of alluding that Chaz was beating her.
Yeah.
And she accuses Chaz of being abusive. And he's like, no, it's not true. And everybody just turns on Chaz and hates Chaz. And eventually she's doing this whole thing. I think they're going to actually, I don't remember the thing exactly, but even like they were maybe going to have her arrested or something. And then Thrasher comes out and summons GTV. And GTV comes on. It was one of the last times they ever did GTV. And it shows Mariana backstage like painting the black eye on. And then I think they even take her out. And that's the last you see of her.
They were ahead of the herd curve.
Yeah. And I guess it was supposed to be like a headbangers union that never really happened.
Yeah.
Well, they did eventually have a reunion in like 2016.
And then again at PPW, like
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Right before everything shut down. They were in the main event.
Yeah, that weird SmackDown live run where it was like the Headbangers, Spirit Squad.
They were so nice that night too.
Oh,
At
the Headbangers were
PPW,
great,
they
yeah.
were so cool. They were actually so when the figures first went from then they made the larger ones.
Jack.
Yeah, the Jack
Jacks.
specific. Yeah.
I believe the Headbangers were the first figures I owned.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I remember being
and
in
I
the
bought
show.
it because he had like a South Park shirt.
I remember being on the show in '99. It was you know how they say, oh, we should do a thing where all these indies come together and do a big show.
Mhm.
That's what the show was. A website put it on. It was the first time I ever heard of CZW. First time I ever saw Nick Gage wrestle, and first time I ever saw Mike Quackenbush wrestle. And Mosh was in there, but Thrasher was on the card. Mosh wrestled in the second match. It was like some group out of Maryland.
Thrasher Falls is on Instagram.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And two things I remember is Mosh's music was the song "At a Medium Pace" by Adam Sandler,
Oh
which
my
the crowd
God.
sang along to. And at the very end, Thrasher comes out and do a big reunion.
Yeah. All right. Well, there is an honorable mention.
There's a few honorable mentions.
Yeah. At the we'll have to say Shane Douglas. Was on there. What's just real quick? Go through some honorable mentions.
Saba Simba, Tony Atlas, Mr. USA will be there.
Mhm.
Saba Simba was him embracing his African heritage. But Roddy Piper was a commentator at the time, and he would always be like, "That's Tony Atlas." Oh, that's Saba Simba's Tony Atlas. He would have to bring up every time that it was Tony Atlas.
Yeah.
And I think he just didn't want to call him Saba Simba because like, this is dumb. It meant 7 lions. And then he acknowledged just like Tony Atlas getting in touch with his African heritage. It was the whole idea.
Coming out with a spear and a shield.
This was this got over, but Miss Atlanta Lively, which was Ron Garvin.
As you're
Garvin
saying that, it just came in the chat.
Wow.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin, dressed as a woman as a tag team partner.
Even had few matches.
Yeah. You had we talked about the FBI a little bit. I think that was off the show. Was the Full Blooded Italians. The original guy in the FBI was J.T. Smith, who was a black man, who would sing "Fly Me to the Moon" by Frank Sinatra.
Was he any good?
No,
he was a decent singer.
Well, I think he did it up to not be good.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. And then Little Guido was an actual Italian. And later you had Tony Mamaluke. You had Big Sally. You had a few real Italians, but you had Tommy Rich, not Italian. And Tracy Smothers, not Italian.
From Harlem, Italy. Big Mabel.
And I believe Tracy was from Nashville, Italy.
Yeah, Nashville.
Which is so funny because there's old promos from Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But Dennis Corluzza was down there as a heel manager. He was a guy who ran NWA New Jersey. He was a promoter. And he was a heel guy in a heel like lawyer guy in Smoky Mountain for a minute. And he kept saying that he had proof that Tracy Smothers, his real name was Vito Marinara, and he was a full-blooded Italian from Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania, of all places.
Looked on a map and said, there we go.
Greg the Hammer Valentine will be at Legends of Hamburg. He was in Rhythm and Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had the honky tonk man who was supposed to be Elvis.
We
and
talked about that in the podcast.
Greg Valentine. They dyed his hair jet black. They made him look like Roy Orbison.
Yeah, and he hated it.
He hated it. Doc Gallows will be there. You had the fake Kane we talked about on the Kane episode, and he was also Festus, who would stand in a stupor, like kind of slack-jawed, until the bell rang, and then he would go nuts and just beat up everybody. And then when you later found out it was because of all the drugs he was on, and then CM Punk got him clean, and then he became Luke Gallows.
Good old biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, biscuits and gravy. Snitsky. Snitsky inadvertently caused Lita to
lose her baby.
Yeah. If you're booking wrestling,
yes, Snitsky's probably one
Don't
of the
do a
worst.
pregnancy angle.
Can we
Probably one of the worst gimmicks.
Never do a pregnancy angle, and even if you are, never do a miscarriage
Yeah.
angle. You're
And it was
making
right at the
people that
time
have
where,
to
like-
live through that go through hell.
Yeah, you're doing this right at the, and this is nothing at fault of Gene, but this is like happening right at the time where Attitude Era is ending and they're just about to break in the PG, and then they do this.
A little while after.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit after.
Yeah, but it's just like it's at the time where they're like, where people are eventually gonna be like, nah, we're not cool with that, and then it was like, all right, that's gone.
Miscarriage angles are always important.
That's
It doesn't matter
just
what
terrible.
era it is. They did one with Terry Runnels with PMS and Sean and D'Lo Brown. It was awful.
Yeah.
And
I always thought that was actually Gene's teeth.
oh really?
Yeah.
That's when he left and came back and he was bald. And then they
Yeah, when
shaved
he
up-
came in,
Yeah, like brown and red, yellow teeth.
because he was gross.
Does not have gross teeth.
He's a big gross guy.
nice teeth.
He
Got
got
a wonderful smile.
a couple title matches out of that.
Yeah.
We were talking about Miss Atlanta Lively. Downtown Bruno, formerly Harvey Whippleman will be there.
Yep.
Mhm.
And he was Harvina once. He won the WWF Women's
I
Championship.
think from Jackie.
I think it was Miss Kitty.
Yeah,
in a Lumberjill Snow Bunny match.
Oh.
And he lost. I think he lost to Jackie on SmackDown like 2 days later.
Is there anyone else in like the WWE lineage outside of that and Santina that has done that?
Not that I remember.
I can't think of it.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see. Definitely not nowadays. You won't see
No.
that.
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
No, I'm drawing a blank.
Does that you have any more?
We talked about Shane Douglas. You have the Dynamic Dudes. Speaking of
Mhm.
skateboards and frisbees, throwing frisbees to the crowd. It's
And
Shane
wearing
Douglas and
Neon colors.
Johnny Ace. And then you had Dean Douglas, because you see, Shane Douglas, in addition to being a wrestler, was a licensed teacher. And then when Vince McMahon found out about it, he had the franchise Shane Douglas, the hottest character in indie wrestling, maybe ever at that point. We're like, he was a teacher. We're going to make him Dean Douglas.
Get it?
People hate teachers.
Yeah.
At least now, I'll give them credit for one thing. At least now you're targeting the children that watch your show. They do hate teachers, but people wanted the franchise.
Yeah.
I give this match the grade of an F.
And then he ran on the same buzzsaw that most people ran into in the mid '90s in WWF. He ran afoul of the wrong people.
Yeah.
Too sweet. Anyway, let's get into our history, this
Our
week in
news.
wrestling. Yeah.
Oh, one other one is Vincent and Curly Bill when Virgil went to WCW. First he was Vincent, because get it, Vince McMahon, and then he was Shane, get it, Shane McMahon. But then he joined the West Texas Rednecks, and he was Curly Bill.
Yeah.
Virgil's got to be up there in gimmicks because his whole
names,
career
yeah.
has just been gimmicks.
Yeah, it's all been, hey, let's make fun of that guy's name.
Yeah.
Because Virgil is Dusty Rhodes' real name.
Yeah.
They try to make fun of me with that Virgil over there, baby.
Yeah. All right. We'll kind of go through some cool things here. WWE is going to be going to TV 14 as of Monday.
Yes,
Now,
and people are overreacting.
Is this
massively.
all WWE or is this just like?
I think it's just Raw.
I think it's just Raw.
So and then I'm guessing like the pay-per-views as well.
Yeah, I doubt it'll be Fox. There's not much you can get away with on network TV. Like they even now with TV PG, they'll say shit every now and then on Raw. They're never going to do that on network
I think the
TV.
pay-per-views are technically not rated.
Yeah,
so we're not
subject to
getting
that.
Braun Panty matches back.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it.
First blood matches.
I mean, those might come back.
First blood.
Yeah, first blood.
matches.
Yeah.
Don't expect the Attitude Era.
No.
football.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Vince has some more news.
Yeah, you might not get the Attitude Era on TV, but you're getting in the boardroom.
Yes, you are.
So allegations that over the years Vince has spent about $15 million
And payoffs.
in payoffs for 4 women for a sexual misconduct.
So he has
allegation.
now officially paid more for sex than WCW.
Well, he did in the first time.
Yeah.
WCW was only $2 million.
Yeah.
Did he pay for it? And the first girl was $3 million.
Nice.
Now this one was a girl wrestler, and one was a manager.
Mhm.
So if you take it back to the time, like 2007, I think they said it was, and you look who's on the roster and kind of narrow it down.
Yeah.
You can play that game.
Yep.
We're not going to play that.
No, I the one I would say, and this is in the 80s, this is even part of these new allegations. This was out in the 90s. Rita Chatterton was the first female referee. She was Rita O. in WWF. She says that Vince forced himself on her in a limousine. And I believe Reno Riggins has backed it up. He knew Rita Chatterton before they were both in WWF, and said, I think it was Reno Riggins. I'm not. I might.
Is that when he went on like talk shows and stuff?
No, this is just now. Reno Riggins like, yeah, that absolutely happened.
Mike D in the chat says Virgil and Jim Duggan get well soon.
Yeah, Virgil fighting cancer. Just had a few strokes.
Yeah.
Early onset dementia is ongoing, so he's struggling.
Fun conversation. You ever sit and talk to Virgil for 45 minutes?
I've never talked to Virgil.
It's a good time. It's a good time. All right. New AEW Tag Team Champions.
Yes, Swerve in Our Glory. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defeat the Young Bucks.
What a
was
fucking
something-
great match.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought,
Once
I thought
the
if anyone
Bucks
was going to
were
win, it was going to be Team Taz.
yeah.
It was a match that I said I'm probably me going in. I said the Bucks are probably going to retain, but I'm cool with anyone walking out as champions. And then they did the whole spot where the Bucks pretty much got eliminated from the match and they weren't in the picture. And I was like, oh, we're getting new champions. And then they did the thing with
I think there was a thing where the Bucks got in a thing where like, oh, that's the finish, and it wasn't. Like, oh, they might be changing. This.
yeah. And
Well,
then
they said Matt got hurt in the
He got a stinger.
match,
Yeah, Matt
yeah.
got a stinger.
he fucking Ricky Starks had the pin and he was like
His
crying.
face,
He
yep.
sold it with his face. I'm like, we're getting Ricky Starks. And then they broke it up. I was like,
correct-
oh.
correct.
I gotta say, I was a little disappointed. I really wanted Ricky Starks and Hobbs.
Correction in the
don't-
chat. It was Mario Mancini that backed up the
Oh, okay.
allegations. Not. I got my late '80s WWF enhancement talent across. It was not Tom Rocky Stone.
How dare you?
It was not L.A. Gore. It was Mario Mancini.
What's going on,
Who I
Chrissy?
believe
Thank you
will
for
be
hanging
at
out.
Legends of Hamburg.
Yeah, I was
and it's going to be
gonna
at Waffle Mania.
Yeah. Yeah, that match was great. I loved
Yeah.
it. I loved every bit of it. I wouldn't say rule it out because I think the Bucks were only champions to get over the Hardy thing that
Yeah.
because they kind of threw
Yeah,
a curve.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And they wanted to push play on the turn.
Yeah. And maybe this is just me fantasy booking and hoping it happens. Maybe ROH's championship match becomes a triple threat tag.
I don't think so.
You wouldn't want to watch the
Well,
Bucks.
No, I want to watch FTR Briscoes too.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
later.
they did come out during the last one and challenge for the.
I think
Did they
it'd be,
not?
I think it'd be fun to see. I think
Yeah, I don't see
remember
that
that.
becoming a 3-way because trying to keep the AEW belts off the ROH pay-per-view.
I was for sure thought the Bucks would
Well,
retain.
there's no
and then drop
way
it
AEW
to-
Bucks aren't
There's
the
no,
champions.
yeah, they're not
Yeah.
champions, so now they can go over there and jump in that as.
Oh, you
Right.
mean they put the Young Bucks? I thought you meant put
no.
Keith
I'm
Lee
saying,
and Swerve.
I'm saying
but
now the
no.
Bucks.
Bucks Briscoes FTR.
Because we were supposed to get Bucks FTR and the multi-man at Forbidden
Oh,
Door,
yeah.
but then the Bucks had to take the titles, and now what better way to be the fans? But
Maybe.
I think it'd be
But
fucking awesome to watch.
I
Yeah,
don't-
because like you had said, the Bucks had come down after their first
Yeah.
match.
And last ROH pay-per-view, we already had this match. So what way to make it different than the last one?
I would not complain for FTR.
I
Briscoes.
wouldn't
Briscoes
either,
would
but I
I.
think it'd be cool to watch the Bucks get involved in again.
I think I'd rather FTR Briscoes too. No,
Yeah,
against
I
Young
just
Bucks.
I don't like three ways.
Yeah, three ways
Yeah,
are
neither do
sometimes.
I.
I mean, that'd be a good match.
It's like, oh, let's put more people in. More is better. Not always.
Yeah.
Not always.
They
I'd
do
also
very
like
well
to
with
see
multiple
Bucks
tag team
Briscoes,
matches, though.
you know, and Bucks FTR again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just me.
I
hoping-
can name my favorite three-way matches on one. Count them on one hand. Singles matches are the way to go, or tag matches. Just-
I loved. I don't remember who's all in it. Beyond, I know the Bucks were in it. I think the Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express. That triple threat tag they did, or was it a fatal four-way
When?
at AEW?
it was Bucks.
Is this where Ray
No, it's
Phoenix got
Jurassic-
his?
Are you talking about Jurassic Express?
elbow hurt.
Swerve and
Might have been, yeah. Yeah, where they did like a four-way tag. And it was
Yeah.
No, it's
fucking
three-way.
awesome.
It was no Bucks. It was Swerve and Keith Lee. It was Jurassic Express, and it was Hobbs and.
Oh yeah, it was.
Hobbs
Hobbs.
and,
Yeah, I thought it
Ricky
was fucking
Starks.
awesome.
Was that the first time that Swerve did the like flip off of Keith Lee?
Yeah,
I believe so.
yeah.
Yeah. But just
exciting.
Give me a
4 people is enough in a match.
yeah, 4 people's plenty.
Yeah, I mean,
It-
you can
one
have a
Story
good
is simple.
like
Okay.
like on Dynamite. You can have a good three-way tag match, but yeah, I'd rather just.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not good, but I think a great singles match is going to be better than a great three-way match.
Yeah.
Or a great tag match is going to be better than a great three-way tag.
I would just say if we already had it once this year, I would add a different stipulation or something.
Yeah, but if you're going to run back a match, run back the best match of the year.
Yeah.
and then
Keep
you're
it
not
simple,
as good
stupid.
as the last one,
Oh,
and then
it'll be-
it's like
Oh, I think it'd
I'm
be
just
as
saying-
good.
Have faith in those 4.
Yeah.
I'm not
Have
saying
faith
it
in
will be
those four.
bad. I'm just saying you run the risk of people being like, well, the first one was
Well, then
better.
never have a
That's what I'm
rematch
saying,
ever.
like-
Yeah, look at the
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
NXT Black and Gold era.
Yeah. Like Summer-
Rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch.
That's why I'm saying maybe mix it up because you
Su-
already had it this
summer-
year.
SummerSlam 1995. You want to do Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon in a ladder match? Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
We should probably put Jeff Jarrett in there.
Or the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys in a ladder match again.
But
Yeah,
did
maybe
it
we
happen
switch it.
once, twice in the same year?
Was he
Twice in the last
It
2
was like
pay-per-views?
18 months.
Yeah.
So
it was 18
ROH
months.
just rebirth, and the first ROH pay-per-view was that tag team match, and it was the best one on the card.
Yeah.
And then you do another one, and you're gonna put the same exact match out there again
It's okay.
There
Yeah, but
was,
within not gonna be-
there
within
was
the
a run
same
of
year.
Yeah,
there
it's
was
okay.
a run of 3 Clash of the Champions in a row where the opener was the Freebirds against the Southern Boys.
Yeah.
Well, also the first match is the spectacle of it even happening in the first place.
Yeah.
Now there's story that's been built there, then you just build from there.
I mean, usually in pro wrestling, you have the 3 matches within a year of the feud.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think if you had 2 pay-per-views in 1 year and you're doing the same match twice, I think it's a little weird. But I'm happy to watch it. But I
mean,
think
with Punk and MJF, they did it on TV and then they ran it back on pay-per-view.
and I think it'd be interesting to see maybe the Briscoes win it, and then people are like, whoa, if maybe they can't be in AEW, but maybe they worked a deal out where if they have a TV deal with ROH, and now the Briscoes are officially here.
The
as
only problem is
champions.
they have a TV deal with ROH. It's probably going to be through Warner Media Discovery,
Yeah, it's the
which
same
is the people
people,
gatekeeping
yeah.
Briscoes. Because that Vince thought he was going to do that when he bought WCW. He's like, I'm going to shop this deal around. I'm going to shop WCW around all these other cable companies. And they had a deal with CBS at the time because they were on TNN. And CBS is like, whoa, no. You have an exclusive deal with us. You have to put it on. You have to put stuff on our network. And we don't want WCW.
Yeah.
And that's why there was no split WCW.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll kind of get into this show, but Wardlow had his first defense as the TNT champion. First on card, on paper, I looked at it, I was like, this is a terrible idea. You're
I thought you meant he had another match on there.
No, he had his first title defense.
You know what? There was a little mess up though. Like when the show was
On the
starting,
camera angles.
Yeah.
it showed like them coming out, Orange Cassidy, and then Best Friends,
Why
and then it
would
goes
there-
back to Wardlow, and then goes back to. I was like,
Why would
what?
there be a live camera backstage in
Yeah, well,
gorilla position?
I guess they
Yeah.
were trying to do the Goldberg entrance for him
Mm.
because they kind of did it then, but they messed up.
Drinking water. He was
Yeah,
just-
they messed up.
Yeah.
Like,
They
going through
did.
Yeah,
some-
they cut.
because he
they
wasn't
cut.
even near it was a mess up.
But the at first I looked at it, I was like, you're gonna put your guy you're building up as your over baby face against another
Your
over baby
monster,
yeah.
another over baby face, and one of them have to lose. And Orange Cassidy can take losses and it doesn't hurt his career at all. And then as the entrances were hitting and they did the whole thing where we're gonna cheat to be funny to make fun of the Bucks.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're gonna make this work. It's
They
gonna be
pull
really
a
campy.
chainsaw out
Yeah, the
from
chainsaw was
under
hilarious.
Well, it made sense because he has to he knows he can't beat Wardlow one-on-one, so he has to do tactics to beat him. That makes sense.
I agree, but I disagree. I think Cassidy. No, I think you could put a match on that makes it believe that Cassidy can beat Wardlow.
Yeah, but I mean,
But who has he beaten in AEW canon 1-on-1?
He hasn't, but
Chris
at the
Jericho?
end
Yeah,
of
Jericho.
Jericho.
True.
But at the end of the match, every match he's in where it's a big stipulation match, you walk out being like, Orange Cassidy could have won.
Does he pin Jericho, or is that him
he
pushing
knocked him into the juice.
Yeah, so he didn't pin him.
Didn't they have
Yeah.
didn't they have 3 matches?
Oh yeah, he pinned him with
Cassidy won
that
2.
trap when Jericho
Yeah.
didn't roll the
Oh,
right way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But every time you watch Orange Cassidy wrestle, you leave saying he could have done it. And they do a great job doing that. And it showed that Wardlow can wrestle for more. He's not Goldberg. He's not going to wrestle a 3-minute squash match where he's just going to do his finishers. And he did some character development. He got a little goofy, which was fun. And at the very end, when he does it, he doesn't do the symphony. He hits one power bomb,
Yeah.
puts all of his weight on his shoulders, and gets out of there. And he's not playing around with Orange Cassidy because this guy almost snuck one on him. And I thought it made both people look really strong, and it was a good performance.
Well, also it's a face, so I feel like you don't want to have him punish a face.
Yeah.
That would feel
Yeah.
out of character.
That's
for him.
I almost thought like Tony there. I was thinking, why are we doing Orange Cassidy right away? Why isn't there like some lower card like heel that he can go against here to make him look strong first out of the gate? But
Yeah.
No, but if he could work that good of a match against a face, that
Yeah.
shows
I
positive.
did like when he
Yeah.
cartwheeled out of the head scissors.
yes, that was excellent.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's a big and agile.
yes, he is in Goldberg. He's already better than Goldberg.
Yes.
100%. He's better than Goldberg.
At any point in Goldberg's
the
career.
second he signed a contract without even watching him
Yeah.
wrestle.
Yeah.
Actually, he was better than Goldberg when he had a really cool match withOdy in the cage,
Yeah.
and it was
Cody
a long
kept
cage.
turning to that Kurt Angle moonsault.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Orange Cassidy, he will be
at the LVC show.
LVAC on August 27th at the Music Fest Cafe in Bethlehem.
Steel stacks.
Steel Stacks SmackDown.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, just looking at people who are on the poster, it looks like Big Dan is going to be there. The world famous CB is going to be
Probably
there.
Gummy Boar, I would think.
Gummy Boar will be there. Vita Von Star, Puff, Mach 10, Orange Cassidy.
There's somebody on the poster who is getting new to that. Is it Kit Ref?
He was at the last
He
one.
was at the
Yeah.
drive-in, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of
at
our
the
like,
drive-in.
so that group is more or less like there's a group of people that wrestle and they always work with each other and they're all buddies. And then we have our group, and then we were kind of involved with both with Leapfrog and stuff. And now we're seeing some of the people that we work with a
Yeah.
lot
Mhm.
kind of getting into that card, which I'm excited for. Like we're seeing JS Hawthorne getting in different places
Yeah,
and kind of breaking out.
GCW.
Yeah. And now Kit Raff doing it with LVAC, which is awesome.
Clara Carreras is going to be there.
Mhm.
Logan Easton LaRue.
I love that
Little
dude.
Mean Kathleen.
Logan is a
Yeah.
beast.
The Batiri will be there.
Oh wow.
They were fun last time too. Someone did a really cool behind the scenes take of Avery's last show. I shared it on our social media, and then they did like a sit down interview with them. It was really it was done very
Batiri?
well. No, of Avery.
Oh.
But the Batiri's like they wrestled that show, but at the last LVAC show. And then we'll just get a real quick ROH pay-per-view coming up really quick soon.
Claudio
Yeah.
versus Gresham.
Yeah.
Put that belt on Claudio.
So we're
Daniel
getting
Garcia.
the title being defended not before the pay-per-view on TV, right?
That's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be Gresham against Lee Moriarty.
Yeah.
And
And that was supposed to be the pay-per-view match, but then they moved it. And
then they signed Claudio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well,
Claudio is your ROH champion.
that's
Please,
the way to go.
please, and thank you.
Should have happened in the regular.
I know it
ROH.
should have happened years ago, but
Yeah. Yeah, and there's still more matches to.
Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia.
Yep.
Josh
Woods. No. Josh Woods is
Mercedes versus
Mercedes versus
Serena.
Serena Deeb.
Serena
You
Deeb.
have
Dude, I like
Mojo and Jay
Serena Deeb,
Lethal.
but she is her last couple of matches not doing it for me.
Well, you can only get so much out. I love Anna Jay, but you only get so much out of her.
I thought
She's
Anna Jay
still
was
green.
doing.
Anna Jay had the crowd behind her.
Yeah,
I'm
she did.
sorry.
Yeah, she
hometown
did.
crowd. That was like a
Yeah,
local
she will
crowd.
be very good. She's still a little green yet. It's
Yeah.
not her fault.
She's green,
still,
but I thought she
She did good. I
thought the mistakes weren't coming from Anna Jay. But it takes two to
I
tango.
disagree there.
Yeah.
But Serena Deeb is a very good wrestler.
Every time I kept
Even
looking
her
at Serena Deeb with
characters.
her haircut the way it was, I was like, man,
It looked a little crispy.
I
Her
can't
hair.
wait
Yeah.
for Bailey to come back. It was kind of like Bailey-ish looking with the gear and the hair, and I was like, I want Bailey.
Why is Bailey not wrestling?
Supposedly she's been back for 7 months, and she's been behind the scenes.
They have nothing for
and
her.
they have nothing for her.
They
How
can't
can
just
you
have
not have anything for Bailey?
You can't just
Yeah.
make Bailey go out and wrestle someone.
They said she's been behind the scenes for the past. She's been cleared
Wow.
for 7 months, and she just sits
Well,
backstage.
good for her getting paid. But I mean that sucks.
So, it's awful.
Let
Um,
everyone else kind of play until SummerSlam happens.
But there's enough room for
We
you have
got-
3 hours of Raw.
Yeah, there's cut a few promos.
Give her
to put
5
in the
minutes.
match.
I went to TV 14. Let's cut it back to 2 hours of Raw now.
It will
Yeah.
never do
Oh, they'll
that.
never do that. That's
No
taking money out of their pocket.
Yeah.
All right, last bit of news, and we'll get out of here. The G1, tons of
Yes.
brackets. We'll start this weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll just go real quick. So there's usually two blocks, right?
It's
So
4.
every guy would wrestle 10 times because you wrestle every single person. Now there's 4 blocks, so every guy only wrestles 6 times. So it's a little bit lighter on the guys.
Well, wasn't there 3? Like there was the
I think
C
there was,
block,
back.
Chase Owens.
Oh, well, that was
Kinda,
all
yeah,
gimmick.
yeah.
That was just it was the joke like, oh, we're in C block and then it didn't count. So I think that one year they did do something in the 90s. So the winner of A and B will wrestle, and the winner of C and D, and then they wrestle each other to finally get who gets the world title shot at Wrestle Kingdom. But some of them are kind of like, Connor's probably gonna win that block. like Jay White's probably gonna win it.
Just one block, just names that I'm familiar with: Lance Archer, Jonah, Okada,
This is
Jeff
block
Cobb,
A.
Yeah.
and Tom Lawler.
I have the blocks here if you want them.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Sang can bring them up too.
I thought I had the blocks. Maybe
They're in the
Yeah, I
Telegram
haven't
chat.
said my
Jay White, Shanada. Am I saying that right?
Sonata.
Yeah.
Sonata is very good. Here, I'll start. A
Oh,
block.
I got it. Okay.
A block is Lance Archer, Jonah, Toriyanu, Kazuchika Okada, Tom Lawler, Jeff Cobb, and Bad Luck Fale.
This is Yano's year.
Yeah, that's probably gonna. No, it's not.
Tom Lawler and Yano is going to be the first.
That should be.
I would love to see Jonah be a showcase in this, but it's going to go.
He would probably do well.
Yeah.
I don't see him
He'll-
winning block
he'll do
A.
okay. It's probably
Block,
gonna.
and the man who's been winning block A
Is
is
Okada.
front and center.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay.
It's probably going to come down to Okada and Cobb.
Now here's block B.
Now Japan just put the whole huge thing out saying like we're going to start showcasing young talent.
Well, there's no young talent in
Yeah.
this. Block B is Taichi, Tamatanga, Tomohiro Ishii, Jay White, Sonata, Great Okan, and Chase Owens finally gets in the G1. I would say Jay White's probably going to win that.
Is
Maybe
Ishii
Sonata.
wrestling even after the injury?
You don't think? Don't they kind of push Tai Chi? A little
Taichi
bit?
might do
could
well. He might.
yeah. He might win because there's
And
4
then
blocks.
lose
There
to
was just
Okada.
2 people. Yeah.
I always like Taichi, even though he's goofy. He would come out. You probably like him. He comes out and he sings a song. Except the only thing is his mic doesn't have a wire.
Does he still wear
And
the pants?
sometimes he moves the mic away and he's still singing.
Oh,
It's wireless and it's
Yeah, that's what they say. Taichi's such a good singer. He can sing without the mic and the crowd still hears
You
it.
know what they should do? They should do Tai Chi sings while what's his
He
name plays
wrestles.
Tanahashi,
guitar.
all know it's a good guy and bad guy, so they can't
Yeah.
cross. Anyway, block C is Kenta, Zack Sabre Jr., Hiroki Goto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Aaron Hanare, and Evil. This one's more of a
This one's
toss up.
this
Take
yeah,
one,
this
yeah.
can go it can go 4 different
Zack
ways.
Sabre, Naito, Tanahashi, Kenta maybe. I hope it's not Evil. So Goto is always that guy that gets real close, but not quite.
And probably not Hanari.
Yeah, and Hanare is probably just there to give some losses. And then finally, block D will be El Phantasmo moving up into the heavyweight
Yeah.
division. David Finlay, Yoshihashi, Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi, Juice Robinson, and Yujiro Takahashi, whose job is just to lose in G1s, and he gets like 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah, Osprey,
This one's Ospreay
and Juice.
or Shingo.
Yeah.
You don't think Juice?
No,
No.
I mean,
He
Juice
and
is very good.
He and
He would
ELP
do well.
will probably help each other win matches in that block, but
Yeah,
outside of that, I don't see.
I mean, Juice is new to Bullet Club, but it's
Well, if anybody
probably
renews their
Ospreay,
subscriptions, send your boy a little login so I can watch it.
oh, the fans are getting the cheer again. I think.
Yeah,
I
you'll
think
have
this
cheering
event, yeah.
sections, I believe.
Yeah. I
So that
always-
starts
I always
Saturday.
say every year, this is the year I get back. I'm going to start New
That's-
Japan.
Well, I mean, unless you watch it not live.
Yeah, I will. I
because-
definitely
yeah.
will watch it live. But I will if I get a subscription or login, I will start. I'll try to watch.
It's a lot though. It's easy to fall behind if you want to watch all the G1 matches.
Wow.
You don't
What
have
I've
to
been
watch
doing
all
is
of
I go up and play Xbox, and then I throw I throw like TNA or
oh, and
Peacock
okay.
on the thing, and I kind of play video games and kind of watch
okay.
that way. I'm not fully invested. Like I don't see every second of it.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's-
multitask. I gotta get video games done, and I gotta get caught up, and then I got
Oh,
watch
boy.
wrestling to
Nah,
watch.
if I'm watching wrestling,
Yeah, I can't do both.
I can
gotta
do that
focus.
with WWE, but New Japan, I gotta. pay attention.
I gotta multitask everything. I'm literally doing social media on Raw, and I'm like, I'm always. There's never one time where I'm just doing one thing. I have to.
Oh,
I only
I
have so much-
normally do one thing, but Raw don't count.
I only have so much time in a
That's
day
true.
and 5 podcasts, and I have to be informed at least a little bit on all 5. So I have a lot of shit to do.
So I think your winner for G1's probably Okada.
maybe
Maybe Ospreay.
See, a part of me, I don't know if I'm into that. Like, just from hearing the history of New Japan, and it's always the same 3 or 4 people every time. Like,
Oh, when you're
how's
that
everyone New
changing.
Japan fans? And they're like, I hate WWE because I'm sick of seeing Roman win.
because when you're the best wrestler in the world, arguably, people
I
want to
don't
see you
think
win.
that's
I
I don't
mean,
think
you're the
that's why
best
they-
wrestler in the world if you're booked to win all the
I
time.
don't think that's why
No,
they hate
no,
WWE.
no. The best wrestler in the world.
Yeah, this is
We're
more
not
of
saying
his-
kayfabe. We're saying physically in the ring. When
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
the best wrestler in the world,
But if you're booked to win,
Talented.
you're going to look good.
you can still lose and be the best wrestler in the world.
like
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler to an extent.
Yeah,
Dolph Ziggler's
I would never
fantastic.
call Dolph Ziggler
Yeah,
the best wrestler in the world.
I think
No,
he's
yeah.
fantastic.
You could lose every match and
Yeah.
still be in ring the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah,
We're
I
not
don't know.
saying kayfabe.
I just couldn't figure out anyone else who
Yeah.
loses a
I don't know.
lot.
Just from a kayfabe standpoint, if you're sick of watching the same 3 guys
That they're different fans.
all the time in one company, but then the other one's the greatest one in the world, but
That-
you always
that's
see the
not
same 3 people
that's
win.
not why they hate WWE. They
Yeah,
hate WWE because WWE sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks because there's no variety. You're seeing the same talent get pushed every time. Am I right or wrong?
But they're on every week. Like
Yeah.
Okada's
Right.
not on every week. They have a show.
Imagine
a big
only
show
having it 4 times a year
You're
and you only
seeing the
watch the same
same-
3 guys win every year.
It wouldn't
That's
be as bad.
AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's AEW.
I'm just saying it's the same thing across the board.
Okay, if we only seen Roman once a month or once every 2 months, kind
Mhm.
of like how he's doing now. And let's say the Brock match, let's say they started fresh, right? And they have this one and they have another one in 3 months. Ain't that played out? Because they only had 2.
But we just talked about how the Okada and what's his name wrestled fucking 19 times.
Yeah.
7.
Because it's great.
And they're not
Over
weekly
4 years.
television.
if every time Roman and Brock wrestled, you go, wow, that was 5 stars, or
Yeah.
just about.
That was the greatest match I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Do you
can
do that
feed
any
me-
of the times they wrestle? Seriously, any of the times Roman and Brock wrestles, is it a 5-star, 6-star,
can-
7-star
maybe
match?
31.
You can
Maybe
give me my
31.
favorite pizza,
Maybe.
but if I have to eat it every single day for 6 months,
Yeah, but this
I'm gonna
isn't
look-
every day.
I'm gonna look for
Yeah,
another
no,
pizza
it's
to
not
eat.
every day.
I don't wanna watch-
Not even
I
every
would eat
week.
that pizza 3 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I used to eat Richie's at Temple every day.
Or once a month.
I'm just saying it seems a little.
But here's the thing. Here's the point you're missing. That a lot of the people who love New Japan, that's the Roman and that stuff isn't what they hated about WWE. It was the
And every company has its own style of
it
wrestling.
was
Yes.
the thing. This is a phrase that would be brought up a lot, like Meltzer and his people. It was the 50-50 booking. It was like,
Yeah.
but besides Roman, Roman has kind of been the antidote to this, and the Usos too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It used to be like, oh, a guy would lose on Raw, and then he would win the next week on Raw, and he would lose the next week on Raw,
You get a title
and
shot.
you get a title shot, win on the pay-per-view, lose on Raw again, win 2 times on Raw,
And it's like, it
lose on the
doesn't
pay-per-view.
make sense and nothing matters.
Yeah.
Even Steven booking, which is not New Japan. In fact, actually, that's what the G1 is, because even if Okada wins G1, he's going to lose along the way.
It'd be
He's,
very interesting to see.
he's
if-
probably going to
if-
lose to somebody like Lance Archer.
Yeah,
Not Lance, he's probably
yeah.
going to lose like Jeff Cobb.
Usually
or
nobody sweeps it clean. I think
Yeah.
that only was done
But it'd
once.
be interesting to see what New Japan's product would be if they had a weekly television show.
Yeah, but you want to get Okada versus Tanahashi every week.
No.
Yeah.
Like they would, like they build it up to like that's your season finale.
I mean, that's just that's booking.
In WWE, it would be like the way that they've paced the amount of time Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have wrestled each other. Like they've wrestled each other all over the world multiple times, but within WWE, I think they have like 3.
They're mostly
and
in
not only
multi-man
that,
matches.
but WWE is
Yeah.
is laid out like a soap opera. New
Mhm.
Japan is laid out like a sport.
Yeah.
Right.
What is the
Yeah.
most popular sport in the United States? The one where one guy has won 9 championships in like, or how many is Brady have now? 7, 8?
I couldn't tell you
a
that.
lot,
Oh.
a lot.
He has no 7. He has 7
7.
championships in 20 years, but it's still the most popular sport in the world, or in the country, not the world.
I don't know. Just making an observation. I don't watch the product, so I can't. I'm just saying, just from what I'm hearing, it's always the same 3 names. every time.
If there was a guy and the
and then an American
undercard-
shows up and everyone's like, I'm into this American because it's not the same 3 guys every time. It's kind of spicy. You're giving me something
what
new.
American are you talking about?
Yeah.
When AJ shows up, when Kenny shows up,
Kenny's
when
not
Jay White
American.
shows up. I'm sorry, when
Western.
someone from a Western civilization.
Not necessarily. They don't lose their mind over Juice Robinson or
Yeah, if they
Finley.
had somebody with Kenny or AJ's talent like that,
yeah.
Will Ospreay's your closest guy, and Will
Yeah.
Will.
Ospreay's in the mix.
Yeah.
He's in the mix.
But I'm just saying from an outside perspective, that's kind of the perception I'm getting. Where
Well,
it's the
Maybe
same.
you should watch.
It's the same 3 or 4 guys, and it just seems like the same rinse and repeat.
yeah, but every time it's great.
Yeah, it's more. It's serious.
If every
like
time
the-
it
it's like
sucked,
the
you'd be like,
MCU.
enough of this. Like when
MCU.
Evil was champion.
Every
like,
time
enough.
the heroes win, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Sure, yeah. Just needs a little bit rinse and repeat.
I don't think the same. They're not the same people. That's the guy that's saying New
Like-
Japan is so great because the matches are the same. Isn't the same guy that's saying WWE is not great because the matches are the same.
Everyone has their own flavor, I guess. But I'm just saying the same
I think you're way off.
same complaints that we get from our American side of wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and then just what we talked about in this show and the
Yeah.
history of things and the people who've been over the past 10, 15 years of that company. I don't see a difference.
People don't like WWE, and I know Austin. I feel bad for you, but I'm going to say it. It's too long. It is overplayed. A lot of the storylines and stuff are overplayed to the point where you're ready to just.
So
It's just terrible.
the other thing too is you're talking about Okada and Tanahashi over and over again, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's
So how many times have they wrestled for the IWGP title?
I don't know.
Since January of 2016.
This was the point that I was going to make.
Once.
Yeah.
It's
More
of
in the last 8 years or
Yeah,
6 years.
they
excuse me.
build to the same conclusion. Like New Japan will always build to the same conclusion, but it's not overexposure. It's not like you're not seeing the same
we're promoting
thing
a G1, but we can pretty much say like, oh, maybe these two guys are going to face off again. Like you're getting the same 4 top guys always in the mix.
Not always. I mean,
And then
like,
a
they
guy
always have to win. Like,
then a guy who's not a main guy gets a push, and everyone's like, "That was fucking stupid."
Yeah, because usually
evil."
that guy's not as good.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Evil wasn't good. It
But
was not
They
good.
did a
People
good
were
job
with it.
Shingo.
No, nobody was.
Well, Shingo's good.
Yeah, nobody was
Yeah.
complaining when Shingo got a push. Nobody was complaining
Yeah.
when Kenny got a push. Nobody was complaining when Naito got a push. Nobody was complaining when Sonata got a push. Or
It's just really interesting that
people
someone, like,
complain.
you don't like sports. but
Yeah.
you like New Japan because it's treated like a sport.
Yeah, because treat it seriously.
yeah,
It's
They do-
serious.
But I feel
Japan
like
treated
Chikara was
seriously.
goofy.
New Japan
Yeah.
does not insult your intelligence
Yeah,
like
but
WWE does.
There you go.
To me, wrestling is interesting to watch. Baseball's not.
Like here's
But
the thing.
that's me.
Yeah.
New Japan is good wrestling to watch. WWE is background noise. And if you're looking like you just said you are for background noise, WWE is perfect.
Yeah,
That's
I'm,
not New Japan.
I'm just saying. I think wrestling is still a part of theater, and
is.
we're
It is.
conditioned to weekly wrestling and weekly television.
You are not
Yeah.
a New Japan fan. New
I'm
Japan
saying,
fans
I'm
are
saying
not conditioned to that.
Americans are conditioned to weekly wrestling and soap
Right.
operas. That's what we're conditioned for, especially in our era. I don't know.
Bro.
Yeah.
This is what you sound like. You sound like Vince Russo right now.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
American fans are conditioned to like the American wrestlers. Like Kenny Omega.
They don't know.
Am I wrong by saying that? Every single
Yes.
one of us here grew up on weekly wrestling
Yeah.
since we're born.
So it doesn't mean that's what we have to like. We can't like
I'm
anything
just
else.
saying-
I grew up on American movies. I also love Korean movies like Old Boy.
I'm just saying the majority of the people in this country who watch it
Yes.
are
This-
conditioned. So for
This
me,
is why New Japan is not the biggest
so for
wrestling promotion
me,
in the United States.
so here's the thing, and I can get it behind this too. New Japan, I probably watch American I mean, I do it now because of the podcast where I watch weekly, but I don't really care until the pay-per-view because I know weekly television's a wash anyway.
Yeah.
So I only really
Pay-per-views
care
are
when
mostly
the
watched too now.
they are, but I mean, I only really like NXT. Even when NXT was at its hottest, I would just wait for a takeover.
There was times when this show was really good though. I
Yeah,
will say that.
because NXT pay-per-view,
Like, yeah.
every pay-per-view in America is like, all right, we're going to show you everything that happened here, and then you
Well,
didn't have
yeah.
to watch any of that. Yeah, and especially because me, if you tell me the kickoff shows here, I always somehow end up watching the kickoff, and I'm
Oh.
like, oh, cool, I didn't need to watch.
Well, the
all-
kickoff you can, especially when there's no matches, skip that.
Yeah.
Oh
Skip
yeah,
that.
no, I am a WWE fan, and I don't think there's
Especially
been a
when it's
kickoff
2
that-
hours of
Yeah,
no matches.
yeah,
Don't watch
Well, the
that.
kickoff is literally just being like, here's everything that happened this entire
Well,
month.
no, it's the opportunity for like those workers, like all of the commentary people, to have their
Their
moment in the spot.
It is
Spotlight.
overkill.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're literally just recapping everything that led
Oh,
to that
Yeah,
pay-per-view.
but
Oh,
every
yeah.
show they do recaps. Like that's when I try to watch Raw. That's all it is a recap.
Yeah,
of what
sometimes they
happened
recap
last
what
week.
happened in the
But
previous
that's
hour.
also
Right,
because
it's like,
yeah, but it's
shut up.
it's
seen
for a presentation for people who have potentially never watched wrestling before.
Yeah.
If
you
that
watch-
gets
if you-
old after
also-
a while.
Yeah,
Also-
because you're conditioned to
Also,
it. You're
WWE
used to
assumes
it.
their fans are stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, you
Vince
watch,
said
if-
people don't remember what happened week to week.
if you do watch sports, they do recap stuff that happened throughout the game
in the same inning.
during the game. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called filler.
but imagine if it was another game. Would they talk? Imagine if there was 2 games taking place in that time. Would they talk about the
They,
previous game?
they do break in on what's going on in other games.
Oh, do they?
The WWE treats it like it's a sport sometimes.
I wouldn't say.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
No.
that.
I think
I'm
what,
saying there's a
Brian, what
comparison.
Brian said there, WWE just insults your intelligence at times, and that he hit the nail on the head for me. That's what it is.
No, it's very dumbed down, but that's because they're presenting to an audience that potentially has never watched wrestling before.
WWE makes wrestling for people who aren't wrestling fans.
There you
That's
go.
what it is.
That's it.
They make it for entertainment purposes. Yeah, I'd agree with that. No argument there.
Sometimes though, when you appeal to everyone, when you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one.
Agreed.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
This is why it's beautiful to be time to be a wrestling fan because there's so much to watch.
You got to
Yeah.
find your flavor. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or you could do it yourself, like hey, I had my first match.
Yeah.
Insane. I was at the show in Troop, Pennsylvania at 2 p.m. Got to see a bunch of my friends wrestle: J.S. Hawthorne, Jordan Palkovich, MIT.
Mhm.
And then left that show, went to the Sanctuary, showed up, saw Crispy and Vincent, and they're like, hey, we were just told 3 matches tonight because there's not going to be anyone here. I was like, oh, okay. Trotsky eventually gets there and goes, yeah, I don't have anyone here today. And he looked at me and he goes, honestly, I don't have commentary either. You could do that tonight if you want. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, all right, we'll go vacuum. So I'm upstairs vacuuming where the Eagle's nest is. And I get back down and I meet a gentleman named Jerry, start talking to Jerry. And then Trotsky comes over to us and he goes, hey, I know you're not ready for this, looking at me. But he's like, I want you two to work out a 3-minute match and let me know what you come up with. And we'll go from
There's
there.
also no microphones upstairs.
Oh, no.
No.
So what would I even been like, just commentary over the phone?
I think he's conditioned that there's microphones there, but I bring microphones.
Yeah.
Because the ones that we were using up there were just snapped and broken and
Oh, boy.
destroyed.
So you did not end up
yeah.
commentating then.
No, he probably realized that idea right away. He was like, I'm an idiot. But yeah, I get back down and tells me that, oh yeah, didn't have any of my gear, had no intentions of any expectations of wrestling. But eventually did.
Who's gear are you wearing?
So
Or
There
did
was
you
a
just wear shorts,
there's a
or-
closet in the back. Of
so
just,
those gold pants were delivered like my 3rd or 4th week of training. And I don't remember I think it may have been Mike Swanson that dropped them off. And I got to training early and J.S. Hawthorne Schultz looks at me and he goes, I need you to try this on. So I tried it on and the gold jacket. And then either that week or the week after, me, Chris, and Vincent stayed after and were like just wrestling. And Vince had that purple and black singlet, which is also from John Schultz. And I tried it on, and Trotsky walked by and saw me in it. And he goes, you know what? That doesn't look bad because it hides your fat, like the fluff. So then, yeah, it's about a half hour before the show. Yeah, it's about a half hour before the show. I find out that I will be wrestling, and I'm like, I don't have any gear. So again, was directed towards Schultz, put on all of that, and then
like you wear a monkey costume.
yeah, then he found.
Why did you ever talk
those-
about a monkey costume at the Sanctuary? It never happened.
That's right. Never happened.
Oh well, there's a baby costume.
A baby mask.
Yeah, that might be turned into something. Potentially the Royal Rumble or the Stampede.
Stampede.
Yeah, July 31st. But yeah, so had all of that makeshift gear. I had gone over an entrance either last week or the week before to the song My Face by Seth MacFarlane, and they really liked it. So then second match came, Chris and Vincent come through the curtain, and then I hear This Is Simply Precious. And it was go time from there. Insane moment.
Now, who did you wrestle?
Outcast.
Okay.
Yeah, that was his ring name, Jerry. I had just met him that day and,
Oh, wow.
and then wrestled him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had only been wrestling a year, and it was a wonderful
I was so
opportunity.
bummed that I didn't
Yeah.
go to do commentary because I would have loved to been on the call for your first. But there is a match with no commentary on it, so we can always go back and add it
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
Voiceover, yes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
magic of voiceover.
Like none of my friends are the only person that was there for that match was my friend Jake Chernitza.
I watched it.
We went to the show and Troop and then traveled back to the Sanctuary.
Well, it wasn't like it was
on
announced.
camera.
Like,
Yeah.
like you
I mean,
knew
I
it
was
coming.
watching the stream
But I
and,
mean-
I heard This Is Simply Precious. I was like,
Yeah.
holy fuck.
But
Yeah.
it's not like
And then
we
I
do
was
like a month in
fucking
advance.
Wow. Yeah, I was bummed. But I no, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'll tell you out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, got to finally wrestle my first match, which after 9 weeks is kind of
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
baffling to me.
Yeah.
I'm very humbled, very honored,
Did well.
very grateful for that.
What did Trotsky say to you after?
The main like positive feedback that
Yeah.
I got was that my presentation was very good.
Oh, good.
My character work was very good.
Yeah, when I was watching you practice that night, 2 Sundays ago, your
Yeah.
character, I did tell you your character work or your flamboyance is very good.
I know my strengths so far.
Well, yeah, and plus you've only been training a little bit, so
Yeah.
you can't be too hard on
Yeah.
someone.
So how long did you wrestle? Exactly 3 minutes then?
Yeah, we legitimately worked a 3-minute match.
Mhm.
And the recording, I don't know if like one of the cameras cut out or what happened, but there's a minute of the match that's not there.
Oh, okay.
Well, and it's like my like fire up. I hit
Oh,
him in the
see,
stomach 3 times. I throw him off the ropes and I hit him with a clothesline.
There you go.
And it's not on the internet.
Oh
it's
man.
not
Well,
seen.
when you have your real first match,
Yes.
your official first match.
Yes.
While you're there, you want to plug anything?
If anything, just the sanctuary at this point. Shows.
Ryan Vox also said, "Congratulations on your first match."
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
Shows are going to be every Sunday. Yeah, no, it really is insane. And then afterwards, got to talk to like Tyron, and they were super helpful.
Oh, they're
with,
fantastic.
got to go over.
No,
the
they're
match.
evil men. They're
Yeah,
horrible,
yeah.
horrible
Sorry,
men.
they're
I don't even know if they speak
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
No, it was like
Well, it was through grunts, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like a series of grunts who spoke.
They are
to them
writing like cave on the wall
Yes.
on the back.
while eating a turkey leg.
Love is pain. He was able to help us. Like he watched what we had, and he was like he liked what we had.
Sanctuary is going to be a very interesting place to be, especially for if you and myself and Brian, everybody else, if you want to get your reps in to get good at something, because going weekly, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very difficult. But if you want to get reps in and get good at something, they're giving you a platform to do it. That's honestly like I came into my first year of commentary and had maybe 15 jobs in 1 year, and 98% of them were all sanctuary, and I was able to get all those reps in and work with different people and do it all because they gave me a platform to do it. So don't squander
Well,
it.
the best way to learn wrestling is by,
Just keep doing it.
by doing it. you know?
Because if you do it at
It's
school,
different than training.
yeah,
you
you
know?
do a school and you work for one
Not-
promotion, and
not
that
saying
one
we should train.
that promotion runs 12 months a year, and maybe 2 of them get canceled because of bad weather. You only get 6 matches a year. It's not easy to get good doing only 6 times a year. You know,
It's
what I
also
mean?
not good exposure at that point.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be fun. I'm excited.
But yeah, ridiculously grateful for that opportunity to even have contact with MIT Jackson Murray, to even step foot in the sanctuary, and then to have my first match. Really was bummed that you guys weren't there.
Yeah,
Because I know you guys would have sold so hard. For
As soon as I was watching it live and you hit it, I was bummed.
That's cool. And you know your gear will come in time. Everything will come in time.
Oh,
there's
they
no
also loved
rush.
they loved the gear.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you can figure out what you want exactly. and
No,
get made.
I have ideas. I have a whole. There's more than just like the precious.
Of course,
part
no
that.
one's first
Yeah.
match is
Yeah.
you know how they
And
are.
who knows?
forever.
Maybe this Precious is only a 6-month thing, and you're like, I got something new.
You,
know?
yeah, you never know.
You never know. Andy, what do you got to plug?
We plugged PPW this weekend, and then next weekend is
Plugged Outbreak.
an Outbreak, and then the weekend after that is the Brew Fest, which I'll be wrestling at Pottsville, July
Yeah.
30th. No matches announced or anything. So downtown Pottsville, you can't miss it. It's 2 to 5, I believe.
Yeah, 2 to 5, I
The Brew
believe, is
Fest.
the Brew Fest.
Downtown Pottsville,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
it's
not
right,
much that
right
is
on
downtown.
Center Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on Center
They
Street.
block off the whole street,
Right
and it's all
across
kinds of beer and
from,
food.
Crimson House.
Yeah. And then we'll be wrestling. The ring may be down towards the center of town because it's
Yeah.
more flat there.
Mhm.
So not
Uh,
in front of Pilgrim. Road.
Andy will be there. Big Dan
Big Dan
Champion will
Champion.
be there.
Tony Deppen,
Yeah,
Adam Zane.
Adam Zane. Yeah,
have Zane. So there's 2 matches possibly.
2 matches and a tag match.
Yep,
there
yep,
we go.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the old school territory.
Yeah. Brian, what do you got?
This is an off week for Murder My Dude, but we still have last week's episode with Rudolph the Right Wing Bomber. That one's still out there.
It
Still laugh.
shouldn't. No, it shouldn't be funny.
I know, but it's
But
still-
it
it's
is.
funny. I'm sorry. Every time you say it, Brian, I'm gonna laugh. Because
I also announced my future in education. I'm going back to school, becoming a Gatsby scholar. I'm devoting my life to Gatsby studies, so that's fun. We do have a new episode coming out this coming
The
week.
closing of that the secret track on that episode. It's fucking
It's a little much.
13 minutes long.
That's a tip of the hat to Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
So the next episode will be coming out next Friday. So let's say it'll be the 22nd. It's going to be murder ? My dude.
Ooh, murder?
Was it a murder? We don't know. This is the first time. Maybe there wasn't a murder.
Ooh.
Maybe there was a suicide. Maybe somebody was afraid of going to jail and just made themselves disappear.
Mm.
We'll find
I've been
out.
watching cold case documentaries on Netflix of so many things.
I have Discovery Plus right now because on Prime Day I got 2 months of it for 99 cents a month. So I'm just like binging
There you go.
on as South Park called it, informative murder porn.
yeah.
So we're gonna get a lot of shows out of that.
Kelly.
And also one thing we will be covering too. We're just talking about New Japan. We do a This Week in Murder segment, and even though now it's like the show's every 2 weeks, so it's like this fortnight in murder, I guess you could say. We are going to be talking about the assassination of the former prime minister of Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Who was assassinated last week.
You're supposed there's a giant revolution going on around the world in different countries.
No, it was just a crazy guy who.
No, I'm
thought-
saying there's a bunch of people who are revolting against governments like now, like in different
Yeah,
countries.
but this guy was a former.
No,
he
this
wasn't
guy
the-
was not a sitting prime minister. He was
Yeah,
a former prime
yeah,
minister.
yeah,
years
but,
ago.
but I'm saying there's right now going on across the world. There's a bunch of
Yeah, I know
people-
what he's
yeah.
trying. Yeah, there's a lot of people revolting against governments now in
I
different
don't-
countries.
Yeah, I don't know, but this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hear it and then I'm like, click right off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't concern me.
There's always unrest, but I don't think there's anything that formal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a guy with a grudge.
Yeah.
I
Kelly.
don't think anyone's smart enough.
Okay. My plug is Truth Behind the Illusion we just done on Tuesday, The Glimmer Man. Go back and
Mhm.
check that out on the audio or the visual side of things on YouTube. That's me, Andy, and Tony talking about a cryptid that has the power of going kind of like
So it's not
Cryptid,
about
we
the
don't
Steven
know?
Seagal movie.
No, it's
no,
not.
no, not at all.
No Keenan Ivory Wayne.
No, it has more to do with the Predator movie from '87 than anything else.
Did somebody see the Predator movie?
Yeah.
We did forget to say him. We could have a
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, nobody done a Jesse
Yeah.
Ventura.
Well, his most famous line you don't really want to say.
Did you mention I was a Navy SEAL?
Hey,
I'm
he
a
was on
frog
Jericho's
man.
podcast the other day.
Oh,
I didn't
was he?
listen yet, and he's
Oh,
running
that's
for.
going to be some fun.
I
political
believe he's
banter.
running for president. So we'll put that out there.
Running for president about 20 years too late.
Yeah,
24 years too late.
one wrestler that's going to be a president. It's The Rock.
I have no idea what your hand
No,
is.
I just want to tell you
You don't
something
think
after, and that's
Cena?
my reminder.
I feel like Cena has a chance.
I don't think he would want to be a
Yeah, I agree with that.
politician.
Cena
But
is
maybe.
enough of an empty suit that he would make a great president.
Yeah,
Can we just not have celebrities be presidents anymore? That'd be great. Yeah. Anyway,
And
I
somebody younger too. Like, let's not have somebody in their
listen,
70s.
the system's
The Rock.
broken. We're never
Huh?
gonna fix it.
Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Rock. There we go. Can you get behind The Rock?
I don't care, dude. It doesn't matter. We're getting fucked either way.
I'm going to move the White House to Tijuana
Yeah.
with Chico Santana.
IWEPnetwork.com. Links below to support PPW, Outbreak, Legends of Hamburg, and all of our stuff. We do have merchandise. We have a Patreon. If you want to help us pay some bills, you can join our Patreon, which is a monthly subscription. You can do a donation while you're there. If you can't monetarily support, shares are always amazing. If you're still here, hit like. If you're listening to the audio back later, take a screenshot on your phone of you watching this and post it on your social media. And say,
That money's fake. We need to return to the gold standard, Monsoon.
Yeah, you can take a photo and put it on online and tag us and say what you thought of the episode. Reviews always help us out if we're on the Apple side. So just any feedback would be very, very well received. We don't get a lot of it, so help us
When
out.
you hear the feedback, it's them trying to control your mind.
There it is.
Control your narrative.
Control your
Ready?
narrative. We'll see
Oh,
you
you're
guys.
going to be in Reading.
We'll see you guys in next week. Actually, what are we talking next week, Brian?
The five-time WCW champion. It's
Oh my.
Sorry,
excuse me.
Yeah,
at Legend. They're trying to shut us down. I've been speaking the truth. Booker T.
yeah. We'll
Booker T will be
the history of Booker T. So
And you say no one follows us. I would like to say that. Just breaking news: Big Vito Lagrasso has
All
followed
right.
the podcast.
there it is. Thank you, Big Vito. You're a sweetheart.
and you know how he got all that heat? It was from thermite.
In his dresses.
Yeah, that's. Oh no,
I think he follows us on TikTok.
Possibly, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I follow him on TikTok and I commented and I said, if you ever want to come on the podcast, the door's open. And he said, I'll let you know, brother. So where's he following us? Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right. We'll see you next time. Love you.